Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Night Floors. It was written by Dennis Detweiler, and it's available as part of a Delta Green sourcebook entitled Countdown. You can find it on DriveThruRPG. Our game master is Matthew Sanderson, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by yours truly as my character, Agent Hopper LeGrand, aka Agent Shaw. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Mission briefing K3135, Special Agent Shaw reporting August 10th, 1998. Investigating possible temporal or spatial anomalies within the McAllister building, located on East 32nd Street, New York City, New York. Building appears normal from the outside, 3 levels plus a basement. Apartments are labeled by floor A, B, and C, and numbers 1 through 4, with the basement rooms labeled S, 1 through 4. We have had a number of odd paranormal anomalies within the building. These are presented in no particular order, but I'll try and relay them as I remember encountering them. Instance 1. While inside Abigail Laura Wright's room, I was examining the mixed media artwork composed of various items from various periods in time, specifically the Edwardian period, the 1930s and the 1970s. I could hear music from the room of Mr. Roger Caroon, the author. As I stood staring at the wall, a voice whispered into my ear something about taking off my mask, at which point a featureless mask with eye holes made of white porcelain appeared at my feet. I followed procedure, and I kept my eyes averted from looking into the eye holes or placing it near my face. Instance 2. The sound, smells, and feces of a large canine were manifested at various places within the structure. On the 3rd level, room C1 contained a great deal of dog feces and urine. The presence of a large mastiff was physically and auditorily, but not visually perceived by all those present. The partially incorporeal animal was subsequently imprinted on Agent Sinclair due to his giving it food. The creature seems to be able to ingest and excrete material substance and is able to be felt by the agents, but it is also able to pass through doors and walls. It does not seem hostile. Instance 3. On the same level of the building, we saw and heard another presence, a man in a pinstriped outfit. We have labeled him Abigail's boyfriend. He moved from room C2 to C3 through the walls and bathroom and out of the building through the walls. This was mainly seen by Agent Sampson, but also partially by me. Instance 4. We have found parts of a play typed on standard paper. Each piece seems to make reference to our team of Delta Green agents by their code names. The script seemed to refer to instances from each of our pasts that would not be known to those outside of A-Cell. In Stiles' case, it made mention of the super, which may be a reference to the entity behind all of this. Instance 5. Agent Smythe, unfortunately, has been compromised. My assessment is it may be temporary and of a benign nature. So far, it is manifesting itself as Felicia, as she is able to see things that are otherwise invisible. For example, she can see the dog. This came about thanks to her mishandling of a scrying mirror created, by my estimation, sometime in the mid-1800s in Paris. One of the tenants, Mr. Louis Post, was the owner of the mirror and became hysterical after Agent Smythe discovered it. He had to be removed from the building. We do not know what she saw in the mirror, but she continues to see it after she smashed the mirror. I have collected the pieces except for one, which I have allowed her to keep. She seems concerned that she can see an entity. Perhaps it is the super. Instance 6. The building is inhabited mainly by artists in multiple fields. In the basement level, There are 8 paintings brushed a solid white on both the front and the back of the canvas. After the mirror incident, Agent Smythe went to the basement and observed these canvases, saying that they showed a yellow sigil of some sort. She also donned a mask that had appeared to her. We managed to convince her to remove it before she moved on. She is, however, unwilling to follow procedure or recognize that she has been compromised. Termination may be in order, but her value to Delta Green must be weighed before such a drastic course of action can be followed. Instance 7. There are strong indications that other floors exist within the building, but only at certain times. This has been deduced from various pieces of evidence found around the building, including a receipt referring to room S10 and one of the above theatrical scripts referring to the 4th floor and floors above that. Finally, instance 6. Shortly after the sun went down, the tenants of the 1st floor, in unison, stepped from their rooms and moved in a most unnatural manner. Mr. Caroon moved up the stairs and Agent Smythe followed. Agent Sinclair and myself followed behind them. Once on the 3rd level, we noted, as we had suspected, that the stairs now continued to a 4th level. The door opened to a lounge. Agent Smythe went inside and began speaking to a man that she identified as Mark Rourke, a character from the play that we had found earlier. There were stairs within leading up farther to presumably higher up levels. We do not know how to correctly assess the events and things that we've seen in this apartment building. We will leave that to A-Cell to determine. We will continue to observe and record what we see in the hopes of closing the door to this incursion. It is my assumption that, should something happen to us, additional Delta Green agents will be assigned. If I am unable to file this report, I will leave it in a place where Delta Green will find it. I would now assess the threat level of this building to be high, but not yet extremely high. All agents, including myself, should be treated as if we were compromised. Hopefully, some of us will make it out without too great a loss of sanity. This concludes my report, Agent Shaw.
Right.
Mark, this play. This play. I'm a character in it too.
He looks kind of taken aback and say, well, you haven't been here before, so how have you got in already?
No, I've seen it in the pages.
Oh, you mean the author's new draft?
Yeah,
the one that's been circulating.
Why, yes, I'm in it. Oh, what a privilege and an honor it is.
You must have high things set for you.
Well, I hope so.
Come, pull up a pew.
I do so.
Okay, then from Hopper's and Martin's position on the stairs, you can see Beverly sits down in a high back chair, kind of opposite a table that's opposite this Mark Rourke fella that you can see. Sits down on back down in his chair, so you can just see his arm and cigar perched on the edge of his ashtray.
It's Hopper and myself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, my bad.
Just making sure. I'm sorry.
So yeah, Hopper and Charles. So.
I whisper over to Charles. I'm like, let's just keep observing.
Okay, you two can hear the sound of footsteps behind you coming up the stairs.
All right. Sort of step to the side. Who is it?
Thomas, so Mr. Manuel from downstairs. He's coming up the stairs. When he rounds the corner, heading up between floors 3 and 4, you can see he looks directly to the dog and kind of gets this big grin on his face and says, "Oh, who's a good boy? I've been wondering where you've been. Oh, he was a pretty boy." And roughs the fur on the back of his back.
Can we see the dog at this point in time?
Nope. The only one of you that can see it at the minute is Beverly.
Okay.
But he can see something because he goes straight to where it is.
Right. Well, if he's going to want to come up to the lounge, we'll just sort of move to the side of the stairs and let him go. We won't
Yep,
hinder him in any way.
Yep, he heads up. He looks at you a bit quizzically as you're stood there and says, you're not coming up?
Well, we'd like to assess the situation. Can you explain why there are more floors now in the building?
Well, what do you mean more floors now? The floors are always here.
How many floors are there on this building?
Oh, I've not gone all the way to the top, but I know it goes way past 7.
Way past 7. Okay.
Well, Mark lives on 7, and I know he said that there's more floors beneath him,
Could
above him.
Could you answer your question for me? What year is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what year is it?
Raises an eyebrow. They only say that in sci-fi films, I've heard.
Yeah, you said that earlier, but what year is it for you right now?
It was actually Roger that said it earlier, but...
Oh, okay.
Well, 98. 2 years until the big Y2K, the Millennium Bug, when everything comes shattering down.
Yeah. Well, no, we're discussing things outside.
Well, what's going on?
Well, just enjoying the evening. That's all. Normally come up here for a drink, for a social. I mean, there's the bar in the corner is free and open to all the residents. So yeah, that's it. I mean, if you want to know more about the place, I suggest having a word with the night manager. I mean, his office is just round there, and he points up towards the door into the smoking lounge.
All right, well, maybe we'll do that.
Okay. And yeah, he gives the dog a pat on the head again, and then heads on into the lounge.
I pull out my notebook and I start scribbling
Oh, Thomas!
what I just wrote.
Oh, my dear
What
Thomas! It's so good to see you.
Hey, hello there. Oh, you finally came up here looking for Abigail, then?
Oh, why? Yes, we have things to discuss. Our lines in the play. We've had this dialogue, but it's important. It's important. This is an exciting night for me.
I'm finally glad that the FBI have been taking seemingly an active grasp of the situation now. I mean, I've been telling you guys that she's just moved up onto floor 6 for weeks, and no one bothers coming up here.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, it's how silly we have been.
Charles,
don't worry about it. It's just a couple of rows up, a couple of stairways up. You can't miss it.
Floor 6.
Yeah, F. So she's in F10.
Charles, you stay here and observe.
I'm going to go take one of those.
You got it.
Off the shelf?
The books, you mean?
Yeah, one of those books that are up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to peruse it as I start heading up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In which case, Mark chuckles as you head over to the wall and says, yeah, that kind of confirms a suspicion of mine.
Oh, and what would that be?
Thought I recognised the face. It's always the quiet ones that go for that kind of material.
Wow.
I'm going downstairs to get Leon and Martin.
Gotcha. Yep, you can head back down there.
And I'll leave my notebook somewhere where it could be easily found by Delta Green.
Stash it in a closet somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Charles, doing anything on the stairway? Oh, you're muted.
I picked up taking notes where Hopper left off.
Gotcha. No worries. Yep, nothing will disturb you on the stairway. And then Martin and Leon downstairs, having put together this weird phrase on the old word processor.
We've all been compromised, Leon. All of our names, they know too much.
Yeah, I think you're right. Do we see Thomas? Because last time we saw him, he was doing the microphone under the carpet. So do we see him go up?
Yeah, if you pay attention to the doorway or keep an ear out, you may probably hear him rather than see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll be aware.
If we heard him, we'd stick our head out the door and, hey, Martin, while the others have gone up following the rest, why don't we go check out see if obviously something's changed over this thing. Let's go check downstairs, see if anything's popped up down there.
Oh, check the basement. Yeah, that might be a good idea. And then after we give that a thorough once over, we'll go up and meet up with Hopper
the others.
and
Yeah,
Charles.
I think so far, I mean, just it sounds like Beverly may be compromised. So it's good that they're keeping an honor, but we might have to do well. You know what the training is.
It might just be field fatigue, but you're right. She may be compromised.
All right, let's go check out the basement.
Okay. As you are going, you come out of the apartment. That's the point when Hopper comes down onto the first floor landing.
Guys,
Yeah.
there's more floors.
Right.
Where? Which?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Beverly has gone into a place called the Lounge on the 4th floor. Tucker is watching her. I'm wondering, too, if there is now more basement.
well, that's what I wanted. If that's the case, what about this S10 that Abigail was renting out?
Right. Let's just take a look in the basement, but I don't want to, if there is some sort of an incursion or a temporal anomaly, I don't want to pass through it.
Oh yeah, totally. I think.
But Thomas said that it's still 1998 as far as he knows. So it might not be time, it might just be space.
But Charles and Beverly are working together up top.
Beverly has gone into the room. She's engaged with the people inside. I think she's gone.
Oh, she's not gone into the room to investigate, but
No, she's gone into the room as if she wanted to go there. She says there's some sort of a party or a ball that's going to be going on. I
So
think,
she's compromised.
yeah, but so far she's not doing anything hostile or dangerous. So I think observation is the best for now.
We can't let her drag us into.
Right, exactly. Watch
Yeah.
yourselves.
I think it might not be a good idea to leave Charles up there solo then.
Right. But I'll tell you what, I'll go back up. You guys check the basement. We
won't go into anywhere, but we'll check to see if there is more rooms.
I have left a notepad with my observations on it for Delta Green if they have to replace us. Usually when I come back down, I'll see if I can find an envelope and stick it in that and put it in the mail. But all right, I'm going to go back up with Charles.
Understood.
Careful.
We'll be up after clearing the basement.
Right.
Okay, so you head
Right,
down
yeah.
to the basement. You can immediately see that something is different here. The 4 rooms, at least the 4 doors that you've seen previously, are still there. When you look down the corridor to where the junction box was and the fuse box that you'd seen earlier, and had very much tested the fact that it is a solid wall, there's no way that this could be anything else, but that wall isn't there anymore. Beyond it, stretching almost into vanishing point, is just an ever-extending corridor with more doors lined off it. You can see the gleaming signs S5, S6, S7, S8, and so on, going off into infinity.
Oh my God.
That's not good.
Leon, are you seeing this?
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should we, what do we do? Should we go check out this S10 or?
Not go any farther than S10 and then go right up to report and
okay.
with Hopper and Charles.
Watch my sticks.
All right.
And so we'll slowly make our way down the endless corridor until we get to S10. Check the door. Obviously with, as you know, gun up.
Oh yeah.
At the ready.
Okay. Well, you head down there. The door, when you give the handle a try, does seem to be unlocked.
So I'll go to the far opposite side of the door that Leon's at.
Mm-hmm.
And once I see him in position and ready to go, I'll turn the handle and open it. With, as I said, gun at the ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you open the door, and it opens up into what looks like a very old office. I mean, there's wooden floorboards rather than the concrete floor that you'd previously seen. There's windows with curtains shut on both sides of the room, but how can it be an external room when you're below ground? There's paperwork strewn almost everywhere. I mean, there's sheets of paper that are having fallen from a desk that you can see is right in the dead center of the room, that they've then just fallen and scattered. And behind the desk is this old hunched man with an almost bald head, just tufts of hair going over his ears, scribbling away in this big leather-bound book. He looks up at you as you come in through the door and just makes very quick eye contact with both of you.
FBI, identify yourself.
Do you have an appointment?
FBI. We don't make appointments.
FBI. What is FBI? I know
give
the
a look
letters,
to
but
Martin.
what's...
I look around the room to either side of him. Is there anyone else in this room?
The only thing that you see when you give a quick glance is that off to your left, in the kind of tucked away in the left-hand corner of the room, is this mean old-looking cat that sat there glaring at you. And when you see it, he just hisses.
Shit. Who are you?
Me? The name's Wild. You can call me Mr. Wild.
Mr. Wild? What floor are we on?
A wooden one.
What year is it?
What do you mean, what year is it?
Exactly what I said. What is the current year?
1923. What other year would it be?
Just checking.
Are you here to have your reputations repaired, or are you just here to point guns at me in a vague...
Is that what you do? You repair reputations?
Yes. Do you have a reputation that's in need of repair?
No, but we might know someone who does.
Oh, who might that be?
An associate of ours. She's upstairs.
Do you know anything about a party or a ball going on at the moment?
Yes, I certainly do. It's a party that's going to be going for a very, very long time.
And do you know Abigail?
Abigail Laura Wright. Yes, yes, she did indeed. She's paid me for my services to repair her reputation in order to get her a seat at the, or rather, at least a ticket through the door to the grand party itself.
So people need to get repair their reputation to get a ticket from you to get into the ball. Is that correct?
Well, it's one way of, and at midpoint, the cat just screeches, leaps across the room, and scratches into the face of the old man, who promptly falls back on his chair and then hits the ground. You don't see the body hit the ground because the desk is in the way, but you see this explosion of clockwork pieces that just scatters all over the floor. Can you give me a sanity check, please?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can get a sanity roll on that.
From the old man?
Yep. If you go around the corner, if you go around the kind of work your way around the edge of the desk and then look behind, you just see this almost porcelain face cracked open and this body that has just erupted in cogwork pieces. A spring flies off in one direction. You see wheels and cogs having just scattered everywhere.
Where's the cat?
The cat is a taxidermied, frozen in position, solid cat.
Holy shit. I failed. Even out of an 80, I rolled 88 out of 80. And there's no luck.
Passed.
Okay, pass.
Yeah, you do not spin luck.
Not me.
Anyway.
I have none.
Pass is 1, so that's 1 for Samson, and a D3 for failure, please, from...
All right, that's 2. 2
Okay.
loss.
Perfect, thank you very much. That's my tracker sheet kept updated. We'll skip back upstairs to Beverly.
Yeah.
Right, Beverly, you can also give me a sanity check, please.
Level 5 is a pass.
Okay. Just the 1 point then for passing that. As you flick through the book only has one theme, one content. Hardcore 1920s porn. All of it's in black and white. There are figures, all of them are dressed wearing masks, but they are in a whole array of the most lewd, the most debased, the most, in some cases, just frankly bizarre acts. Some of them appear normal as well beneath the mask. Others are, let's say, different. There's an array that at the time may have found their way into the likes of freak shows or anatomical exhibitions. Some of them are very much like the Elephant Man. Others are more, say, fishy. You can see bulging eyes behind the mask. You can always see slits that could be gills in the side of the neck. And as you're flicking through, one particular piece almost looks like a mermaid with this mask over her face is leaning in as if to kiss a figure that's strapped in this leather outfit that, even though she wears a mask, you'd know your own face when you saw it, and that's what makes you pause while looking at the book. And Mark's chuckle wafting up from downstairs, saying, I know I always recognize a face.
I wonder if the others are in here.
Now you keep on flicking through, and there must be tens of thousands of pages of this pornographic material throughout all of those books downstairs. So the chances of you even finding yourself in there were pretty slim. It does not look like the others are in there, at least not in the book you're holding. Right, you get to the top of the stairs, so you now are on floor 5. You can see that the corridor goes ahead of you, as well as to the left and right. You can vaguely hear in the distance the sound of another, well, it might be a record player, or at least some kind of music is being played, but it sounds a little different in quality to the record playing Dead Man Stomp downstairs. That it seems like an older machine. It's a bit more scratchy. It's also like somewhere far away. You're unable to pinpoint at the minute where the sound is coming from. What do you do?
Oh, I go look for it.
Okay. All right. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 failed sanity checks under your belt now. That's good. And you're on your own. You wander off through the corridors. There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to where the corridors go. They all have the same aesthetic as downstairs, that this seems to be some Edwardian construct. Lots of mahogany, lots of very velvety textured wallpaper. And as you pass from between doors, some of them, they're all marked up here, so it'd be A, B, C, D, E. These are all E rooms. So you'd be seeing like E1, E2, but then it skips to E356, E792, and it just goes on in a seemingly incomprehensible pattern of rooms. There are noises coming from some of them. Others are completely quiet. When I say noises, it could be the sound of people moving around. You might hear the sound of coughing. It's almost like walking through a hotel, that it feels like there are many, many occupants here. But you do eventually...
Okay. No. I'll just keep going.
Okay. But no, you do eventually come to, after having taken several twists and turns, you do come to a door that's just marked E. There's no number on it. And you're fairly sure you can hear the sound of a typewriter typing away and the sound of this music coming from inside. The music stops and the typewriter goes silent. And the door creaks open. Back downstairs. So, Hopper, whereabouts are you going?
I'm on the way back up the stairs, and I get back to Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, I found them. They're going to check out the basement to see if there's also extra rooms down there. But I told them not to go into any anomalies that they find. So we'll see.
Beverly went deeper in.
Oh, you did?
No, Beverly did.
Oh, jeez. She went up the stairs?
Yeah, I was about to follow when I heard you coming up the stairs, so I waited.
No, there's something really wrong here. I'm afraid that if we step in there, we won't ever step out again. They could certainly close the door and the whole thing could fade out and we could be stuck.
I think it's on a night schedule, being with the mention of the night manager.
No, well, I'm at the moment, to be perfectly honest, I'm absolutely terrified.
Good. It's not just me. And I reached down to pet the invisible dog.
Oh, he's still there. Oh, he, she, it. We respect its privacy.
Did you give it a name?
Spirit.
Oh. Jeez. It couldn't be Spot or Rova.
I figured it fit.
Rova.
You can hear up at the top of the staircase above you. You can hear someone moving around, and Mark comes into view and kind of holding a whiskey, a glass of whiskey. Cocks his head towards you. Says, "Are you going to stay there all night?"
Well, I have to admit that we're a little disturbed by something that wasn't here just an hour ago.
Well, what do you mean wasn't here? Of course it's been here. It's always been here.
Oh, well, it's not here during the daytime when we are inside the building.
Oh, what defines daytime?
When the sun is out, when the earth has turned in its rotation to face the sun.
Isn't there always a half of the earth that's in darkness?
Yeah, well, when this half is in the darkness, the rooms are here. When it's not in the darkness, they're not here.
I think you just have to look a bit harder.
We looked pretty hard. Do you mind if I just ask you some questions then?
He shrugs. Can do if you want. I'd prefer to do it sitting down.
Oh, well. Miss Abigail, you say in at least part of the play that she went upstairs. Is that correct? She moved upstairs?
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the author's new work yet, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to.
I see.
But I remember, yeah, I mean, I've said repeatedly that she's gone up with that creep onto floor 6, that she's living with the Encyclopedia Salesman.
The Encyclopedia Salesman, is he dressed in a pinstripe suit with,
Yeah, that's him. That's the creep.
Looks like he's from the 1920s or 30s.
Hopper,
What do you mean from the 20s or 30s?
I mean, the year 1923, 24.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I hadn't realised he'd been here that long.
You were going to say something, Charles.
Yeah, rephrase what you just said again. Something that Abigail or somebody hasn't written this yet, or the author hasn't written it. Who are you referring to?
Well, the author. I mean, I haven't read what he's written yet. I mean, I know he's passed a lot to the other guests here in the hotel, that he's been sliding them under people's doors to give them an idea of the kind of stuff he's writing. I think he's looking for some kind of critique, or he's looking for some feedback. But
who's the author? What's his name?
Good question. Never asked his name.
So it's not Callum.
Who?
Mr. Callum? Oh,
Karen, no, Roger.
Karen, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not him. He wouldn't be capable of such greatness.
So maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but you don't know what you're gonna do until the author writes what you're gonna do.
Well, no, I know what I'm going to do. That's crazy talk. I mean, I've been written into the play as a character. I know I feature in the new version that he's working on.
Yeah, you don't know what the character is going to do until he sees it, so he hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress as far as I'm led to believe.
Who is the super?
The super's the superintendent.
You see him anytime?
I don't go that high up in the hotel. He's up in the penthouse having a party anyway.
He's up in the penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
I mean, if you want to have a word about the super, I can get the night manager for you. I mean, his office is just over there.
Well, yeah. Could you have him come over here and talk to us, please?
Yeah. I mean, he might ask you to come into his office.
Yeah. Well, go ask him if he wouldn't mind. Tell him that we have a difficulty we need to discuss with him.
Sure. I mean, that's what he's here to do. He's here to fix problems and difficulties.
Jesus Christ, Tucker, I don't know if we should go in there or not. I really don't want to.
He wanders out of sight and you can hear a knocking on a wooden door. Right, we'll cut back to Martin and Leon. So, Wilder's cracked open on the floor and just revealed this bed, or this carpet of clockwork pieces. And there's a stuffed cat in front of you. What do you do?
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to check, look out the window. I'm going to pull the curtain back and yeah.
Okay. You open up the curtain and thrust the sheets aside, and beyond the curtain, beyond the window, it opens up into a living room. You can see that there's pieces of kind of old, threadbare furniture. There's another window on the edge of that as well. On the other side, that opens up into a kitchen that you can see is very much an old country house-style kitchen, and there's another window beyond that. That opens up into what looks like maybe a library, perhaps, or definitely some kind of room with books lined. In the very small, in the distance, then beyond that, you can see there's another window which opens up into a study. Can you give me a sanity check, please?
Yes, I can. Oh, that's a fail.
The dawning realization is that while this should be an exterior room, there is no exterior space. The outside world no longer exists while you're down here. Can you give me a D3, please?
Yes, I can.
I'm looking.
If Martin's looking as well, you can definitely you can also give me that sound check.
I was looking towards the desk, wanted to see what he was writing, the paperwork, and also just look at the gears and the parts that he disintegrated into. Just sort of checking that area out.
No worries. How many points did Leon lose? Just so I can keep my track up to date.
Just the one. I just lost the one.
Okay. Right. Martin sees then this book is a huge ledger which seems to be documenting clients, cases where it seems that a reputation has been damaged, and then the amount they've been charged, and then confirmation that the case has been closed and that the reputation has been repaired. There are rows upon rows of examples of this, page after page after page, in this very tight copperplate hand.
Does it indicate what they're being charged? Is it a dollar amount, or is it something else referenced?
It is dollars, yes.
Huh.
And there are references to places that makes definitely strike a chord. Like New York is mentioned, Washington, Stanford, etc. They're all American places, all on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
As you're flicking through, some of them also make reference to a war as well, like reputation damaged on the battlefield, or wounded returned home, pushed towards contemplated using suicide chamber or lethal chamber rather.
I collect up some of this, like a sampling material of this here, as evidence I want to sort through later and put in a file.
Yeah, I mean, the pages are really thin, so you can easily tear out a few of them and then fold them gently and put them in your pocket.
Okay. The gears of the what the older man shattered into, I poke around there if I have time with Leon.
Yeah, I mean, they're all polished brass. They look slightly corroded, as if they're fairly old, or they haven't been cleaned particularly well. But yeah, they seem to be normal clockwork pieces, but obviously in a very, very unconventional setting.
You saw this, Leon, right? He shattered into this.
Yeah. No, I'll close the curtain. I'll be like, Martin, I'm not exactly sure what we've walked into, man, but shit. I think we gotta get Legrand and Tucker and maybe find somewhere we can hold up until day.
Yeah, agreed. We don't want to go into anything, any sort of anomaly, as Hopper suggested we should not. So just checking this room out, we should backtrack now and get back up with Hopper and Charles and see. Okay. All right.
Touch base with them. So we will back out of the room and do, I guess, like a last check around to see if anything catches the eye. If not, we'll close the door and head back the way we came.
Yep, nothing else catches your attention, so you can shut the door gently behind you. Cool. And as you walk away, maybe muffled slightly through the door, you think you hear the distinctive hiss of a cat.
I kind of shake it off, like, no.
Okay, otherwise you're able to get back to the stairs without any problem. And then, as you say, you're heading up to go and see Hopper and Charles?
Yeah.
Yep, you find them at the top of the staircase. So looking out into this weird smoking lounge where the roof should be.
You guys, so were there extra rooms?
Oh, yeah. It's a mess down there, man. Like, listen, we went to S10. There's this guy there. He was talking about repairing people's reputations, and once you got that repaired, that gave you the invitation to get in the doorway. Completely, he didn't know what FBI was. He said that the year was 1928. This horrible-looking cat attacked him, and he burst into clockwork pieces. And the cat was taxidermied. There was a window down there. I opened that up, and it's just endless. Like I was looking to a living room, and then the window in there was looking through to a kitchen. The place down there is a mess. I think we need to find somewhere we can hold up and just wait it out.
Wait what out?
Well, whatever the hell this is. We've met some of these people during the day, so obviously there's a cycle. There's a cycle of something that all of this shit stops at a certain point.
We're about to be talking to the night manager.
And Beverly went in.
Yeah, Beverly went in. She went up the stairs. She's gone. We don't know where she is.
Beverly's compromised.
Yeah, you're compromised also. You walked into the anomaly. You went to S10.
I'm not compromised. I'm not compromised in the same sense as Beverly. Beverly went in.
There's no same sense. Compromised is compromised.
I got out.
Yeah, you are telling me that there's clockwork people and there's stuffed cats and there's endless outside. You've been compromised.
Yeah, but he's still acting like Leon, whereas Beverly...
Well, no, of course he is. Yeah, you're fine, Leon. You've been minorly compromised.
Martin, was there a clockwork guy in his taxidermy cat?
He went with you.
I saw. Yeah. I stepped into the room. I saw what he saw.
Yeah, so we're compromised in the exact same way.
It's not a big deal. We may all be compromised. Very little of what we're seeing might be real. We might be locked up in a booby hatch somewhere with padded walls, for all we know. Why are you just standing there without moving? Just completely frozen all of a sudden. With
He's
a
very
really dumb
compromised.
look on your face.
Time has
There
stopped.
you are. All right, you came back. You were completely frozen. I was making fun of you for
All
not.
right. Shit.
Well, here's the thing. So far, Tucker and I are the only ones who haven't walked into this thing, at least as far as we know. You guys want to go inside?
That might be a
Go
good
inside
idea,
where?
just into this room. And Leon, if either of us start talking about disregarding our concerns and safety and going further in, we need to remind the other, we need to go back to the others first.
Well, as long as you're completely understanding the risk that you might lose your minds walking in there.
Yeah, well, you're right.
We know that every time any of us go anywhere, we know that's a possibility.
So the guy
our
inside
job.
claims that the guy inside is identified as Rourke, Michael Rourke,
Okay.
which is from the script.
Now, let me just check, because when we were talking downstairs, he said that the night manager was on the floor. He was on this floor below.
Well, he
He
got
was
it
in one of
wrong.
the
He's on
rooms.
this floor.
Right through here.
Right. So if you are willing to go inside and talk to him, we're going to wait here by the door. But we're hoping that he'll come out here to the door and talk to us.
Well, let's see if he comes out. Let's see if he comes out.
All right.
Let's not throw me in to be the guinea pig.
You hear a door opening out of sight, and then footsteps. Mark pokes his head round the corner, at the top of the stairs, smiles. As he does so, as he's cocking his head, you can actually see his hair is a wig, because it slides gently
Yeah.
to one side. So a toupee. Yeah. He just smiles down at you and says, "Yeah, the night manager says he'll see you now."
But he
floor
wants-
above you.
He wants us to come in.
Yeah.
So I look over at Leon and Martin. You willing
I
to go?
step back. I step back from Hopper. I'll be like, "It's your call."
I'm not going to force you to go in there.
Beverly's the senior field agent here, I think, and
No longer.
she's compromised. Do we have a chain of an
Not really.
operational?
Not really. We're here using our own judgment on this.
Oh, muted.
Yeah, Tucker just keeps moving his lips.
What?
Sure. Legrand is the senior agent. He's
Am I? I've only been on this thing for 7 years.
Listen, whatever
That's
happened,
longer than me.
And
whatever happened to Beverly happened before she stepped through that door. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
true. It happened when she looked in that mirror.
and
Just don't. Yeah.
we need to. I'll just be the one to say it. Either get her out of here or eliminate her. So we have to go through those doors.
Well,
if we go
That's
out,
true.
is the front door still exiting the building? We don't know.
we don't know, but
No, no,
apparently
no.
this entire building, well, I would guess from here down, at least before you get to the basement, we're in a normal building, but we don't know that for sure.
Things changed at nighttime, adding on upstairs, downstairs, so we don't even know what's out the front door.
It's true.
If there's nothing out the front door, if it's just a void, then there's no point going in to extract Beverly, because where would
Do you
we
know?
extract
Do you know what?
her?
Do you know what might be interesting?
Nobody's
Is-
talking about
is Abigail's room right now.
all right,
Yeah.
but nobody's talking about extracting Beverly. We're talking about talking to the night manager
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
and seeing if you guys can find out any information about what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
You keep saying, "Us guys, you've got legs."
I ain't going in. I told you I am absolutely 100% not walking through that door. But you've already done that. You did it downstairs.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So Hopper, Charles, they have not gone anywhere that this building
It's
did not
weird.
exist before.
However, we're standing here right here at the door.
Yeah.
You can ask us at any time, what time is it, what year is it, whatever, and we're going to yell in and make sure that you guys come out before the sun comes up.
If we call for backup for help, are you going to come and get it to us?
Tucker will.
I will.
Okay, I step in. I take one full step inside.
I'll follow Mutton for backup. Fucking hell.
Okay, you step into the smoking lounge. So Mark Rourke is just to one side. He smiles and gestures towards the wall over to your right, so where you couldn't see it from just stood on the staircase. And there's a door that has the words Night Manager emblazoned upon a sign. And he just gestures over to it as the door cracks open and slowly creaks open and says, yeah, the Night Manager will see you now. One floor above you, Beverly is stood looking at a door which is also creaking open. The smell of sweat, the smell of cigarettes, the smell of booze just wafts out towards you, and it's not gut-wrenchingly bad, but it's bad. Do you still want to head in?
Yes.
Okay. You swing the door open, and you're confronted with what you think would be probably an old, again, probably 30s, you think here, style apartment where it's very, very cramped. You can see an old oak table in one corner where there's a typewriter positioned on it. And then there's a beaten up sofa that's on the other side of that. There's a bed in the corner directly to your right as you come in. It's kind of an old wire frame with, you imagine, very squeaky springs, rusted springs underneath it. There are clothes dotted around the room, seemingly hung at various positions, shirts, dungarees, trousers, suspenders, all of which reek with body odor. They're sweat-stained. The room is almost oppressively hot as well. There are no windows that lead to any other room or any other external view here. And there's no other door apart from the one you've come in through. You can see that next to the typewriter, or even on the typewriter, there is a page which is just barely clasping onto, holding onto the typewriter before it would fall out of the roller. And there are other blank sheets scattered on the floor, some typed as well, but mostly blank.
Are they?
Go ahead.
Oh, what are they writing? Is it the play? Is this the room of the author?
Well, if you go to the sheet on the typewriter itself, you can see this.
Mark, I can assure you that the dog is quite harmless. Sinclair points the gun at the floor all around the smoking lounge, evidently afraid. Sinclair, yelling, "But it's invisible!" Mark, shrugging, "You're quite wrong about that. I can assure you, that big old gray-haired mastiff is far from invisible." The sound of panting and unseen feet padding around the smoking lounge are heard again. Sinclair tries to identify its source. Sinclair, yelling, "Stop fucking with me!" Mark, smiling, "I'm sorry, but you're really not my type." Sinclair, relaxing slightly, "I've seen strange shit involving dogs before, but not like this." Mark, "Oh?" Sinclair, "Yeah, dog from nowhere. Came out of nowhere and tore a person to shreds after taking a pill. Fucked up shit, man. Fucked up." Mark looks like he's had a revelation and goes to the bookcase. Mark, "That's it, doggy. That's it, doggy style. I knew I'd seen you before." Sinclair looks confused as Mark pulls a book from the bookcase and opens it, showing a photo inside to Sinclair. Mark, "I've got a great memory for faces." Sinclair stares at the photo in astonishment and horror. "So the others are in the books?"
Somewhere. Just depends on which book.
And this must be the author. Hello?
There's nowhere for anyone to hide in here. But as you look around, there is an old phonograph in the corner. So not like a gramophone, but it has a similar kind of tube, similar kind of opening at the top. but it connects up to a record type device beneath it.
I'll start it up again.
The minute you turn your attention towards it and take a step towards it, it starts on its own. And you can hear this melody start to play that definitely resembles the sound that you heard somewhere, say, way back off when you first came up to the top of the staircase. You catch sight of the name of the disc, and after hearing a couple of phrases, being able to pick out words of this very distorted tune that's been played, the song is "Whatever Happened to Abby," and it looks like it's an old 1930s release. You're not too sure. You certainly don't recognise the tune, but as it goes round and round, you can catch that the group that apparently produced it were Phil Hart and the Hart Heps.
Oh, where is Abby? Where is Abby? Indeed. Where is Abby? And I kind of look around the room again. Say, I'm so sorry for disturbing your work. I just wanted to meet you. That's all.
Okay. As you look around, there is one of those other discarded sheets on the floor that you can see that's been typed up, where the first word on the sheet catches your eye because it says Shaw.
Shaw. Tell me, have you heard of Stephen Alz's? Louis shrugs. Louis, should I have? Shaw. Well, you're an artist, and he's an art collector. I thought you might have crossed paths. Louis chuckles. Louis, he collects comic book art? Shaw, perhaps. Depends on how macabre it is. Louis, you mean like this? Louis hands Shaw a bundle of loose papers, each containing pencil sketches. The audience does not see the artwork, but the look on Shaw's face conveys the horror they inspire. Shaw, you drew these. Louis, proudly. Indeed, I did. Shaw, what on earth inspired you to? Louis, she did. Louis points to the large mirror propped up beside his bed. A shadowy figure moves behind the pair of them in the reflection, even though there were only two of them in the room. Shaw, what the? Louis, not what. Who? She has a name, you know. They all have a name.
Yeah. Otherwise, your calls to grab the attention of the author seem to be falling on deaf ears, or maybe there is no one here to hear them.
Well, I'm going to roll the one that's in the typewriter, all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a fresh sheet and put it in.
Yeah.
And just type Smythe, : sorry, I've disturbed your work.
Nice.
And period.
Mm-hmm.
And then return.
Mm-hmm.
Smythe leaves the room to go find Abigail.
Okay. Do you want to give me a percentile roll? Your target now is, because you are on your own, is fairly low. Your target number is 6.
So I rolled 20. Is this something I could spend luck on?
Theoretically, yes, this is.
14 points of luck it is.
Okay. You don't even necessarily realize that this is what you're doing when you go outside, but you go out and you hear the door shut behind you. You quickly glance over your shoulder. There is no door there anymore. And then when you look around, trying to get your bearings, ahead of you, there was just another door that led into another room on the 5th floor. Instead, you can now see a staircase going up again, beckoning you to the 6th floor.
I head up.
Okay. You continue up, and right down this long corridor, you can see ahead of you, there is what looks to be a crack in the wall. that there's a whole section of wall which has been broken apart, and you can see actually there is a littered array of workmen's tools on the floor, as if they've just been dropped there. Pieces of plasterwork have been bashed away, and beyond it is black, from which you can feel this cool, dry air gently breezing towards you. And depending on how close you get, are you walking straight up to it?
I'm walking towards it, yeah.
You can see as you get closer that there is a room that it opens up into, where there are a couple of flaming torches which are positioned on the wall, evidently a stone wall. This almost seems to be like a cave with a flat floor and 4 tunnels leading off into the black. And just this cool, dry air wafting its way towards you.
There's no other doors here.
Oh, there are doors left and right. These are all marked, say, F. But again, they're not in any sequential order. You pass F1, then it's F9, then it's F26. Again, you hear the sound. You hear the sound of movement behind some of them, but this is your feet are guiding you onwards, almost unconsciously. Give me an int roll.
70 is good.
Okay, that success in this actually ironically costs you 1d3 san, as you realise you set yourself somewhere where you wanted to be. You brought yourself to it.
That is 3 points.
Perfect.
If I brought myself here, I'm going to do Abigail.
You have this sensation of into that chamber and then heading off into the black.
I will lead you in the
Okay.
right path.
Alice has gone down the rabbit hole. Right, downstairs. Martin and Leon see the doors of the night manager's office open.
Step in. FBI agent Martin Lahart. This is Agent Leon Graves. We're here investigating the disappearance of Abigail Wright. We have reason to believe that you may know of where she might be.
Okay.
Is this true?
Yeah, the man that's in front of you nods and says, "Oh, there's a couple of details that need to change with this statement. Yeah, but I get what you mean." The man that's in front of you, as Roger described previously, looks a bit like Albert Einstein. Wild white hair that goes off in almost every direction. Slightly shorter than Einstein was, though. So it's kind of Einstein in miniature. The room around you is definitely an office. You can see filing cabinets in a couple of corners. There's a selection of weird black and white photos up on most of the open wall. A quick cursory glance at them without lingering too much, as you're focused on talking to the night manager in front of you. A couple of them look like bombed out, almost like war-torn cities. There's lines of refugees going off into the distance, into Vanishing Point. There's bodies littered over battlefields. They all seem to be war scenes, but they don't really seem like any war that you recognize. At least not the aesthetics of, anyway. Each one has a caption, but you can see that it's there, but you need to take the time to actually read them. There's otherwise clutters of paperwork all on his desk. There's piles upon piles of newspapers which are dotted around the room. The most obvious one that kind of stands out to you, because the headline is so big, you can kind of catch it in the corner of your eye. It looks like it's a New York publication. But it has this, looks like the New York Tribune. It has this massive headline that stretches across the top. Russo-Germanic pact crumbles, Vienna liberated. And a big exclamation mark at the end of it.
What's the date on the paper?
If you have a kind of look over to it, July 1st, 1923. But yeah, the night manager says, yeah, there are some issues that need to be corrected with this story. Miss Abigail, right? Is not missing. No, she's in the penthouse. She moved up there after breaking up with her. What is it? Boyfriend? Yes, the salesman in F10. They had a. I think she says she had a better offer. She got an invite to the room upstairs.
She has several.
So you're the night manager. Where do you go during the day?
He just points towards the door behind him. Says, I sleep during the day. I'm awake at night. I take care of all the leaks, and the plumbing in this place is somewhat hard to keep on top of. And some of these rooms have real problems, you know. And it's all
What's
on
this
me.
building called?
It's the hotel.
Hmm. And what year is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the current date?
You know, honestly, I lose track of these things. It's just one day is like another. I have my duties that come down from the super. I have to make sure that all the guests are in their allotted rooms. I have to make sure that all the plumbing is taken care of, that all the repairs need to be done. It's a never ending task, but it's all on me.
You have work orders, don't you, for everything you just mentioned? What dates are on those?
Yes. Well, they don't have work orders. It's more of a case of it's just the order number that comes in, and it's just I've got to jump in on these things as soon as I possibly can.
Mm.
For Hopper and Charles, because the door's still open, you can hear what's going on. So if you did want to kind of yell round the corner, you can interject.
Charles, would you...
Purposely staying right next to the door, too.
How
Charles,
many floors exactly are there?
That is a question even I cannot answer. How many floors are there between here and Carcosa? This is a nonsense question.
And Carcosa?
Yeah, back home.
You're suggesting that this building, a single building, reaches to another city?
Why does this have to be a single building? Singularity is a very restrictive concept, no?
Okay, I think this is getting...
We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
This is circling around where Abigail is missing. There are people outside of this building, her family members, that are reporting her missing. So she's in this building, and she's being kept here.
No, she can leave anytime she wants.
Guys, can we leave her a message?
Can you send Abigail a message?
You could go and talk to her yourself if you wanted. She's just in the penthouse. Say she's having a ball at the Super's party.
We don't have an invite.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Charles, why don't you go downstairs and see if you can open the front door and there's our world out there.
Could
I'm
you
gonna grab Spirit and head down to the front door?
You can take the dog with you. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Hopper just sent away the guy who was going to cover us.
The super, I'd like to ask, could you page or send a message to a Beverly Clark to have her meet us here in this lobby area?
I can try. It depends where she is.
It would be very appreciated.
Look, if you can send a message to Beverly, and if you can send a message to Abigail, who's in the penthouse, and just tell her if she could pull herself away from the ball for just a moment, we would really love to speak with her. As we both said, her family are worried about it.
Yes, I say I can try.
That'd be much appreciated.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to vacate my office, I will obviously need to go up and have a word with your boss. See, I'll lock my office while I'm out. So please though, make yourselves at home in the smoking lounge. There's plenty of drink to have here. Plenty of cigars in the walk-in humidor. Plenty of books. He turns around and just picks up a book idly off the desk. Yeah, there's always this if you want to have a read. Hands you a beaten up copy of a paperback novel called Lady Don't Fall Backwards by Darcy Sarto.
Hands it
I don't take the book.
Guys, why don't you come back down here and join me? Charles has gone downstairs to make sure, like Martin said, that the door still opens into the real world. He'll be back up in a minute. He's got the dog with him.
Thank you, Supervisor or Superintendent. I'll take you up on another time, but right now I'll pass on. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
All right. In which case, so he shuffles you out of his office and then reaches to a chain key that he's got on his belt, locks the door to his office, and then slowly, as he kind of hobbles a bit, maybe a hobble or a limp, walks over to the staircase going up to the next floor, and you just see him take one step at a time slowly, and he starts heading up. Meanwhile, downstairs, Charles gets to the front door without any problem. As you get down to the second floor, there's nothing weird on the third floor. As you get down to the second floor, you hear the sound of what seems to be a party going on from Michelle's room. You can hear the sound of definitely a murmur of a large crowd in her room, and the sound of like chamber music, like string quartet maybe from in there.
Put my ear to the door.
Okay. As you put your ear to the door actually swings open partially, so you've got a little crack that you can look into. The apartment is much bigger than it was last time. The internal room is still this wonderful bibliophile's dream come true, where there are bookcases everywhere, but then there are gaps between them as they actually form doorways that go into another room opposite that, where there's more bookcases. You can hear the sound of many people in here, but you can't see anything. It's almost as if maybe they're in the one or two, maybe even three rooms further on from here. But you can see from this little angle that, yeah, this isn't just one apartment room. This is a room and then another room and then another room and another one, all of them lined with books.
I take my pen and without breaking the door frame, I push the door with the pen so it swings open.
Yep. In which case, swings wide open. You can see there are more leather-bound chairs which are here. It has this feeling of being this nice old, somewhere between a kind of a gentleman's club and a library.
But it sounds like there's a party and I don't see anybody.
Yeah, they seem maybe they're a couple of rooms over, but they seem distant. They don't seem to be in here. It's not like the dog where you can sense that there is a definite presence here, but this is just distant sound.
I mumble to myself, keep my eye on the prize, and I turn around and I walk towards the door.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you head back down then, so heading back down to the first floor. There's no sound here from any of the rooms because the occupants are all up in the smoking lounge. The doors to all the rooms are shut. The front door, you can see New York traffic going by. In fact, there is still an ambulance parked outside where they're pushing Mr. Louis Post into the back of the ambulance.
I'm gonna stop and look. Are they animated or are they stuck in a pose?
No, they're moving. You can see that he's still he's still sedated, but yeah, they're basically getting the gurney lift up and are pushing him in the back of the ambulance.
Now I figure at least an hour or two has passed, right? At least.
Yeah. At least, yeah.
Now, does the doorknob turn?
Yeah, turns.
So I'm going to reach out and turn the handle, see if it turns.
Okay. It certainly does. The handle turns. You open up the door, and the normal smells and sounds of New York outside come wafting through.
So I'm going to keep 1 foot inside the building and step with my other foot out. It's double doored, or is it a single door?
It's double doors.
Double door. So I'm going to reach out and pull the other door open and be like, hey, what hospital are you taking him to?
Well, we just said a minute ago we're going to take him downtown.
All right, St. Mary's.
Yeah.
What time you got? I need it for my report. Sorry, it's been a bad day.
He looks down at his watch. 3 minutes past 8.
All right, thank you. And I'll let the door go.
Okay. Yeah, door shuts.
I'm going to reach in and look at my watch.
3 minutes past 8. But the second hand, it goes tick. And doesn't go any further. Not while you look at it anyway.
Sign roll? Sanity roll here, or for everything that...
No, that's just weirdness. I don't think it's sanity shattering.
All right. I'm going to close the doors, pat the dog, give him another piece of the pretzel or bagel, whatever bagel it was.
You can have some bagel left.
And then head back up to the group.
Okay. Right. In which case you make it all the way back to the threshold of the 4th floor, say the entrance to the smoking lounge.
So what's the verdict?
Hopper, what time you have?
It's Jesus Christ. My watch stopped.
No, it didn't. Well, yes, technically it did. Guess who's in front loading the guy into the ambulance? Our patient that I had to sedate.
They're still there?
Yeah, it's still 8:03.
So there is a time dilation. The time is that we're stuck.
Time has stopped. We've been in here at least 2 hours and 40 minutes by my calculation. Maybe more. I don't even know.
So we're already in the anomaly.
But if we exit, we'd go back in the normal time.
I believe so. I was able to interact with them. I double checked what hospital he was going to and asked him the time.
Did you happen to stick your head into Abigail's room?
Yeah, there's. And I shake my head. It's a lot bigger, and there sounds like there's not an orchestra, like a band or something playing and music, but from way back in.
That was Michelle's room on the 2nd floor, not Abigail's room.
I knew something was wrong with that.
Michelle's room. I wonder what Abigail's room looks like.
Okay, well,
guys, at this point, we're all compromised. Do you want to go back down and check? Let's go.
Yeah, let's go have a look at
Beverly's
Abigail's
not
room.
going anywhere except...
Beverly and Abigail is being paged and contacted by the superintendent to meet us here.
Was it the superintendent or the night manager?
The person we were just talking to.
The night manager went to talk to the super. That's what you said.
Oh, okay, right.
I wouldn't think that the superintendent of a building would be like in the penthouse, but that's crazy.
Very strange.
Let's go check the rooms downstairs.
I'll wait here. I won't go in, but I'll wait here for Beverly or Abigail, because if they may be returning.
All right.
We just summoned them, and then if we leave, that's not going to bode well.
I wonder how big this building actually is on the inside.
Maybe we should all stick together at this point.
Okay, well, if we go down quickly, I'm sure they won't have Beverly and Abigail return that quickly. This is just supposedly 1 or 2 stories downstairs.
I'm not sure that time is actually flowing. All times might be the same time here. Anyways, let's go check the room. I'm insanely curious since I've already been compromised. I said so much in my notes.
Okay,
all right.
So you're all heading down apart from Martin, who's waiting for the super or Abigail or the night manager or whoever to come down from upstairs.
Right.
Right, in which case, the three of you get down to Abigail's room. The door is still as was. You open it up, and it has indeed changed. There's still an empty room in terms of furniture, but there's all this stuff that still lines the walls. But maybe it's just that you're seeing it in a different way, but it seems like all the colours in the room are accentuated, and this forms a massive collage that depicts a scene, almost like a panorama, that you're seeing on the far wall, as if, oh, in fact, I'll start from behind, that probably works better, and then work round the room to the view that you're seeing in front of you. The scene on the back of the door and the walls to your left and right seem to depict this sprawling city that's quiet and dead, of architecture that maybe resembles the ancient world or perhaps the Renaissance. It's hard to pin down any one time period. It's almost as if it's a mishmash of different times all put together. And then the walls that run perpendicular to where you are on the left and right, so the side of the walls, just depict overlooking this large, well, is it a lake or is it clouds? It's hard to say. It's almost maybe a cloud lake. Or mist riding on top of the top of the waves, and the far wall is just this sprawling palace, almost Gormenghast-like, a huge construction, walled exteriors, towers that rise behind the twin moons that stand in the very center of the wall.
You see it? You see the overall effect of it is a piece of art. It's like a collage, creates a larger picture.
That's weird.
The more I look at it, the more clear it looks too.
You have the feeling, well, in fact, you can give me anthropology rolls as well if you like.
Oh,
Actually, I do
close.
have it right.
no.
Apology. I will spend 3 luck to pass.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, this seems almost like a work of religious devotion. This is a shrine to commemorate or to glorify this place that it's depicting, this palace, this city, this lake.
I wonder what city it represents.
Out of interest, can we still, like, so we can see all the stuff, can we still see the stuff that's underneath it? So, like, the fake legs and the radios and all that stuff, we can still see those.
Oh, yeah.
But just through those, we're seeing these
The
things.
color.
What about the symbols that we saw?
Oh, they're all still there. Including, if you're looking around, you can give me a spot hidden roll.
Yeah.
Pass. Just a
Pass.
regular.
Okay. Those of you that pass find that occupying the central space where those twin towers rise behind the moons, you can indeed see that there is another symbol there that forms almost bridging a gap between two of the otherwise alchemical symbols that you saw previously and that were shared to you by Agent Marcus. It looks somewhat like this. So you can give me some sanity rolls for everyone that saw it.
I'm standing in the doorway, sort of half in the hall, half in the room, just sort of covering it. Do I see it from there?
If you've passed your spot hidden roll, you can indeed see it from there.
I failed,
great.
but I'm sure somebody's going to point it out.
I passed.
So
I
might
got a
as well.
000.
Oh, jeez.
Oh!
Compromised.
So
I
all of
also
my
failed.
being careful has now backfired.
Led you to this point. Well, in which case, Hopper, realize as well that as this symbol starts to slowly turn in front of his eyes, that suddenly it's not just this collage of random junk with all the colors accentuated around. You can see that there are this wonderful, realistic, as if a picture from life painting that has been painted onto yellow drapes which hang all around the room, and the sound of this orchestra that you can hear wafting through the air vents and from somewhere way up above. You can cross off 6 points of SAN and give me an int roll, please. Anyone else that failed, it's just a D6, but for rolling 0, 0, 0, you take the full hit.
I lost 2, Matt.
Okay.
And I got a hard on my intelligence roll.
What if you pass? What do you roll?
Pass, just 1.
Okay, I passed just.
Okay.
Passed 1.
Gotcha. Right, in which case, everyone at this point has had... one of you is lagging behind. Styles hasn't lost that much SAN at all. But everyone else in the room has lost 3 at some point, 3 sanity rolls.
Yeah.
You hear a woof from the corridor. There's a long grey-haired Mastiff dog stood by Charles. The only person that doesn't see it still is Martin, but everyone else can see the dog now, with this almost contented grin as its tail is wagging backwards and forwards, and it's panting, kind of nodding approvingly as you're looking into the room and seeing the yellow sign.
What are you looking at? What?
Charlie, I can see the dog.
Me too.
I can see the dog.
I cannot see. I don't see what you're seeing. This is not good, guys. This is...
You're the only one that's not been compromised enough.
God, Beverly must have been hit hard, because, I mean, I can see the dog now, but I've got no want or need to go running up into that place.
Right. Me
Well,
neither.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, we need to get her and get out of this building.
I'm
Do
sure
we
that
need to
can
get her?
get her.
Do we need to get her?
You know the rules.
She's our team member.
Yeah, but as Charlie put it, our training, if she's that far gone, we eliminate the threat.
Okay, yeah, I'm falling back on FBI training, not yes.
Delta.
I passed that intelligence roll by with a hard. Okay.
Your realization here that somewhere in the back of your mind, this sparks a realization that something here, something that symbol represents, is a channel of power, that something has left its mark here and is able to funnel its power directly to you, to this place. Your mind feels like it's teetering on the edge of a razor blade, that at any one moment, this could be like a house of cards that will come tumbling down. But that moment is not yet here.
Can I ask, have I seen enough to connect the dots with the encounter that I had in New Orleans?
Oh yes, people that the people that worshipped that play, that symbol, that king, that is the crest of the king that they follow.
And also they were talking about the when Wilde was talking about who he was working for. I would have made the fuck. Okay, guys, listen. The last time I encountered people who were drawing this thing and worshiping all this stuff, they were wearing suicide vests, and they took out an entire family in New Orleans. So this is really bad news. These people who believe in this shit and believe in this kind of stuff, they're not right in the head, okay? And people die from this shit.
I think that we're all not right in the head at the moment.
Yeah, but not obviously to the extent. I mean, do you have a need right now to go out there and worship a king and wear a suicide vest?
No, all I can think of at the moment is retrieving my notes and pinning them to the wall in this room so that we know that the Delta Green people will find them.
Yeah, but then they'll say, what happens if we don't get out of this and they send more people in, and it's just a vicious
That's why I want them to
circle.
find out before they get
we're
into
just
what
feeding the beast.
they're going to send people anyway.
Wait a minute.
Leon, they're going to send people anyway.
Hold on. Time is stopped right now. Compile a letter, hand it to the paramedic, and tell them to deliver it.
We can't hand it to an outsider like that. It's got to be something that nobody notices except Delta Green.
Can we contact
Our
Michelle
cell phones,
Van Fitz?
yeah.
Yeah. We should have a flip phone on us.
Mm-hmm.
It may not work in here. You might have to step outside, but that's doable. One of us can hold the door open.
Oh, that's right. We're out.
my
We're
phone
way
working?
out of sync.
Yeah, your phone works. It's only got a couple of bars in here. The reception isn't brilliant, but the closer you get to the front door, another bar pops up, and another one.
All right. I'm going to dial the number. The opera was not very good. It's the ending is really awful. Check the room. You'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
Click.
Yeah, message saved.
All right.
Upstairs, Beverly goes into this cave, and again, you can feel that there is this wind washing over you. This seems old. This seems, in fact, ancient. You go down a couple of stone steps to get down to this stone floor, and then there are these 4 tunnels that lead off into... Well, first of all, they look like they go into black, but maybe if you squint hard enough and you look further into the black, you can see maybe look like little pinpricks of blue light down there, and the occasional sound of running footsteps way off in the distance. Your feeling of wanting to get to Abigail leads you towards the second tunnel, and you step into the darkness. Can you roll me 3d6, please? There's going to be a fair number of dice rolls at this point.
Okay, let me get more dice.
Mm-hmm.
We will do these all together.
This is again where I need to keep track of things as well. So.
I need to find the yellow ones to be appropriate here.
There's no other color.
No other color.
Yep, 3d6.
Total, do you need them separately or all together?
Total.
Total is 11.
Whoa, okay. This is going to take a little while. I now need 11 percentile rolls. The only result I'm looking for is 3 or less. You can spend luck on the roll if you wish. When you hit one of those numbers, well, when you hit 3 or less, I need to know which roll you made it on.
Okay, roll 1. That's a 10. You know what? Screw it. 7 luck.
So your first roll.
First roll.
Okay, right. So that's 1 out of 11. Now it's spot hidden roll.
99 is a fail. Gosh dang.
Okay, right. So that is our 1 is a failure. You can attempt another. So that was your first roll of 11.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 of 11, you can roll that. Again, your target is 3 or less.
18. No. So roll 3. 17. Roll 4. Worse. Roll 5. Roll 6. Roll 7. Roll 8. Roll 9. Roll 10. Roll 11. Okay. So that's a 12. So that's going to be 8 more points of luck to make it on the 11th roll.
Oh, so you get it on the first and the last.
Yep.
Okay. Right, you can give me another spot hidden roll then.
No, 82's a fail. Wow. Nope.
Ouch. Yeah, this is a particularly it is a particularly hard thing that's happening here, but we'll get back to it because there may be chance that you can get another attempt at this. As you are walking for hours and hours and hours. This is evidently some kind of subterranean labyrinth that it's not so much a planned one, but definitely a series of tunnels and caverns that open up way below the ground, which extend for miles and miles, and dotted almost everywhere. Some are at head height, some are down on the ground, some are at waist level, are alcoves carved into the stone where there's this blue light is shining from behind the alcove, or the back wall of the alcove, where in each one a blue bottle sits of ornate design, each one...
I need to find my name.
That's what those rolls were for, to see if you could see, A, if you wander into the area where that is, and B, do you spot it? You've wandered into at least as you've wandered back and forth throughout the labyrinth, you have crossed over yourself a number of times and have come to at least one spot twice, but you have failed to spot the one that has your name on it. But if you want to continue wandering, then you can. But yeah, there is a name on all of these bottles.
So before, I needed to find Abigail, and it's led me to here. And now, I need to find my bottle.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will leave you then for the minute at a crossroads. That as you have wandered for, well, your internal clock would say, this is hours upon hours, maybe even as much as half a day. You get to one corridor or one tunnel where there is finally light at the end, and you can hear the sound of waves breaking on a shore. That's way ahead of you. When you get maybe halfway down that corridor, the bottles stop, and there are no more alcoves. You are torn between going ahead will take you in the direction of Abigail. Behind you will lead you further back further into the labyrinth, where you know that somewhere in there is a bottle with your name on it. We'll leave you to ponder on that threshold and cut back to the others.
I think now that we have been compromised, we might as well see what the extent of this anomaly is. Maybe we'll survive and be able to tell somebody about it. What do you think?
This anomaly looks like it goes on forever. So exploring going on forever does not seem like a logical plan. That just seems like we're going to get lost and this will consume us.
Well, maybe. It may have already consumed us.
We could go up and try and find Abigail.
Yeah, I mean, that was our original charge, but that was more so from an FBI perspective.
Well, you know what? That was our original charge.
I gotta ask the question, though. Abigail went missing. Someone used her credit card.
Well, I don't know about that. Somebody stole her wallet.
Yeah. Well, something like that, yeah.
Maybe.
Because I mean,
the signature was not hers.
Here. But that's what I mean. That's what brought us here. Someone used her credit card and knew her signature. What about this boyfriend guy that's traveling?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw him downstairs.
Maybe she explained to him how to use it in our world, and he used it.
Do you think these people can leave this building?
Well, we can.
But we could.
Why don't we ask Mr. Rourke when was the last time he left the building?
Yeah, but it depends on where he left the building. The guy was saying this isn't one building. The night manager said this is not one building. He said singular. There's multiple buildings. He's calling it the hotel. So what if they can get out, but it's not our outside? It's a different outside.
Right. It would be the time that they would have. I don't know.
Because he also said it was 1923.
That's not surprising. Anybody who steps in here thinks that it's the year that they stepped in here.
Exactly. Which means if they step out, they might step out in their time, and it still be the time when they first stepped in.
That's a good guess.
I see. Yeah.
Because when Charlie stepped out, it was the same time as it was the normal time.
And you said there was nothing outside the windows?
Well, we were looking downstairs. We looked out the windows downstairs, and I looked out the window downstairs, and it's like looking into a bunch of different rooms. There was no outside.
We have to go back upstairs and see Martin.
No, I came down with you.
Oh,
because we were just going to come down here very briefly and then go back up.
Yeah, we were waiting for somebody to come down and talk to us. Let's go back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beverly and Abigail, hopefully.
And we'll just go in. I think we're in. We're already in.
Yeah, Leon and I went in, and it didn't seem to have any adverse effect.
I think it's just if we see stuff like what was back in there, that's when things get bad.
You know what? Maybe our best position is to treat anything that we see or experience as if it was perfectly normal. You see a giraffe come walking out with a drink in his hand. Just, okay. That's normal. And maybe that's the way we can navigate this building, is just by treating it as
prepare for the unexpected.
If it was normal.
I think we should all stay together.
Yeah, let's all stay together.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's go up, taste the whiskey. Take a look in those books. See what's there.
Okay, sounds like you're heading into the smoking lounge then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you head on in. Feels like a normal room. Definitely no adverse effect when you step inside. Okay, there's still the gramophone record playing. So there's nice jazz music filtering through the air. Nice smells of tobacco. So well-stocked bar. There's Mark who sat there, swirling whiskey around in a glass, taking a sip from it. Says, you're back again.
We decided to take advantage of the situation.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
So, Mr. Rourke, when was the last time you left the building?
Left the building? Well, ever since I gave up my job, really, and just decided to move in permanently.
That was quite a while back, huh?
May have been. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've begun to realize that time doesn't really mean much here, does it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're a quick learner.
Well, not very quick.
Quicker than some.
Perhaps. So, we have some amenities. We have, what kind of whiskey is it that you're drinking?
Oh, just fairly good. Oh, fairly good Scotch.
A fairly good Scotch.
Yeah, there's a whole load of liqueurs up there as well if you want. Some of the bottles are a bit, mystery booze.
Mm.
I'll take a nice cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what kind of whiskey you got. I'll taste the whiskey.
I'll join Charles for a cigar.
Music's interesting. Kind of saxophone, kind of haunting.
Yeah, so a sax and trumpet piece.
Yes, trumpet. I don't know why I got that mixed up. Sounds vaguely familiar, but so what's upstairs? You said that the penthouse is where the super is?
Yeah, the super's having his party up in the penthouse. There's the floors in between. Then there's the other guests which are staying here.
in between here and there. How many floors are there, did you say?
God, he just shrugs and
Okay,
smiles.
so going up the stairs, you just eventually will get to the penthouse? You don't have an elevator?
Oh, eventually. No, this place was built before elevators.
And roughly how many guests are staying here?
Could be
Similar
hundreds.
answer to the floors.
Could be hundreds, could be thousands. It all depends on how many people have passed through here in the past.
We're
Well-
in the Infinite Hotel. That's where we are.
Well, it's not infinite because there is a start and there is a finish, but it's let's just say flexible. There's everyone who's come here has come here for a reason. Everyone has come here looking for something. Some people have decided that to find what they're looking for. Others have, like me, have made the best of the situation.
I want to
Tell me,
grab.
Mr. Rourke, what do you know about the King in Yellow?
Yeah, it's a fine play. It's a work of supreme art. The author's working on a new version for the New World now. I understand he's making some inroads. He's been asking a few of the people here that have called him to provide their critique on some of the pieces. There's all Abigail, you know. She found a copy in a bookstore nearby and brought it back to share it amongst everyone here. And they all read it, and then we came.
So, this building was added to this group of people who all exchanged a play were added to this collective.
Yeah, they called us.
And you said Abigail moved upstairs. What room has she moved to upstairs?
Well, she was in F10 for a fair while, but she's moved up to the penthouse now. Like I said, she got an invite, so she went to go and join the super at his party.
F10 is where the boyfriend is.
Yeah, thankfully she moved away from that creep. I mean, I've never liked him. He's a piece of work.
Does he have a name?
He's just the salesman. That's all he is now. That's all that's left of him. Always running between jobs, looking to sell his next batch of encyclopedias. He'll be doing that until Aldebaran burns out.
Till Aldebaran burns out.
Do I remember seeing any books in Abigail's locker down in the basement?
No, there's no books in there, but there is one room that has a lot of books.
Which is the room I'm in now.
Michelle's room.
This room, but also, although all the books in here all appear the same, they're all leather bound, they're all unmarked. But Michelle has the biggest collection of books in this building by far, and from what Charles had said, that library has expanded several fold.
What's in these books? And I go over and I pull down one of the books.
Okay.
Flip it open.
As described before, porn, and lots of it, and some
put
pretty.
This right here.
It's pretty graphic stuff.
Some sort of French art here, huh? Ho ho ho! Yeah, take a look at this, Leon.
Ooh, laissez bon tout rouler.
Yeah, there you go. It's your Frenchy porn.
Jesus Christ.
We. And you say Michelle has a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Charlie,
okay,
you want to come have a look at Michelle's book collection with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to go upstairs?
No, Michelle's.
I know, but you don't want to go upstairs?
I'm going to go check out the books.
I guess we're going to check out the books, but we'll be back.
Okay, I'm not planning on going anywhere.
They didn't, and as we're walking down, I'm like, they didn't seem to remember what night or day is. So I think that once you're in here, if you stay in here, you're here forever.
Yeah, but it's weird because we met some of them when we came in during the day.
They were in the building, though.
Yeah.
You've never seen any of them walk out of the building.
But there's got to be a trend. But they changed. We saw them change. Their demeanor, the way they acted.
That's true.
Yeah.
Depending how they were in the day and then when they were in the night. There is a cycle.
They were spotted in the exterior laundromat, the deli.
But a few
before.
weeks prior.
I'm
But
afraid to
then-
say this is why Delta Green is very careful about agents. They say, we are now compromised agents, but what the hell?
It wasn't 8:03 sunset? Or 8 o'clock sunset?
8 o'clock exactly was when the sun went over the horizon.
That's when what's his name came out of his room and started bouncing around like some sort of weird vampire going up the stairs.
And Thomas started putting the recording device back under the...
What's that all about?
He was
he
recording the
recording?
party.
There's nobody in there. We were just in there.
You know what? Let's go. Well, there was... didn't you say there was something the noise coming out of Michelle's room, Charlie?
From deeper in.
All right,
Well,
let's go to
have a
Michelle's
look at
room.
I want to see if I can find this book that Abigail bought and brought to this place, which has obviously caused all the fucking problems. I'm gonna destroy it.
It feels like we're on Fantasy Island.
You know, I just
We
had
even got our own Mr. Rourke.
a disturbing thought too. Yeah, they did act different in the daytime, but now time is not passing for us. So we might never have a daytime.
Maybe there's still a time limit to how long you're in here.
It passed for you, didn't it, Charles? When you stepped out briefly to check on the ambulance, it passed
but
3
as
seconds.
As soon as I stepped back in, my second hand stopped.
So basically, what we're ascertaining is we could step out the doors right now and just leave this all behind us.
Possibly.
Possibly.
I wonder if we're out of sync now with you, Charles, because you've been 3 seconds out of the building. If you and I step out,
Check our watches. Well, we didn't sync them. We'd have to sync them to see.
Yeah.
Well, let's
but
try. We can sync our watches now and then try.
I mean, what are we going to learn? That our guess is right. But I think that I get it. I think that this building and perhaps other places in the world are all somehow melded together into one gigantic hotel
Yeah.
that goes, what did you say, all the way to Carcosa? I don't know what the hell that is.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
the
that's what
night
he
manager
said, to
said.
Carcosa.
Yeah, he said to Carcosia.
sounded like a city to me.
Well, it sounds like, from what this Mark guy was saying, Abigail bought a copy of the King in Yellow book, which, as I said, I've had fucking problems with that before in the past. She brought it in here, everyone read it, and now everything's stuck in this. So what if people have been finding this book or whatever the hell it is in different places, and this is what happens?
Maybe we should look for that book when we're in Michelle's.
That's where I'm going.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
And destroy it. Yeah, this should not be going out.
Read it.
This is.
If I'm gonna read it, I'll probably destroy it. Yeah,
it's just a book.
Yep, destroy it. This is
Just
what's
a
causing
book.
this problem. This
What
is
we
like
want to
a
do at
Venus
least is find out what this Carcosa is.
Okay.
All right. So we're going down to Michelle's.
Okay.
Leave
so
the
you-
dog.
Well, the dog keeps following Charles.
Oh,
I don't
Jesus.
think we could leave the dog.
Feel like, you know.
You head down a couple of you head down a couple of floors.
Might as well look crazy.
You head down a couple of floors and get to Michelle's door, still partially ajar. So you can hear the sound of definitely some kind of party or mingling happening inside. Who's in?
I'll walk right in. I'm going to look
Yeah.
and see if I can find a yellow book on the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and sign.
Okay, those of you that are looking for a particular book, give me spot hidden rolls.
37 out
Found
of,
out again.
49, which I believe is just a pass.
where is it? 37
It is.
out of 60.
Okay, so 2 passes.
I failed.
I'm staying at the door.
Okay, you are keeping yourself there. In which case, I'll ask for a listen roll from Martin.
06.
Oh.
006.
You hear, because if I remember right about the geography, let me pull the map up for one sec. Yeah, there we go. The end of the corridor that you're in, so beyond Michelle's apartment, this is over the front entrance, effectively. There's a closet that's there. You hear the sound of footsteps coming from that closet, as if it's through the door, but then a long, long way away.
Are the steps getting louder, or
They seem to be walking perpendicular, so it's all again almost Doppler shift. You can hear them coming closer and then getting further away.
but I'm not seeing anything?
No, but the door's shut.
Is Hopper, Charles, or Leon near the door?
They've gone inside into Michelle Van Fitz's apartment.
All right. Whoever's the closest, Charles, could you come here for just a second?
I walk over.
I've heard footsteps, but I'm not seeing anything. But since you all see things that I can't see, do you see any commotion down there at the end of the hall?
So I look.
You can see the empty corridor and the door at the end that goes into the closet.
I'll walk down and open the closet door.
And go. I'm going with him side by side.
Okay. Right. As you're both present, you can use your combined total. What's on your mind as soon as you open the door?
Me?
Whoever's opening it. What is the thought going through your mind at that time?
Mine was thinking of the girl whose room this is.
Ah, okay. So you're thinking of Michelle.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of the name.
All right. You can give me a percentile roll. Your target is 8.
Oh. I got 85.
Okay.
There's
there's 1 8 in there.
Yeah.
You open the door, and it's an empty cupboard. It's an empty closet. Back inside, with the 2 that did pass their spot hidden rolls, you're looking around for yellow books, and yeah, you see a few that are definitely leather, or not leather, yellow covered, coloured. That's what I'm looking for. These all seem to be collections of feminist poetry or feminist speculative fiction. There's nothing here that screams or has a title King in Yellow on it. So you start getting a bit frustrated thinking, well, if it's a book called that, surely it has a yellow cover. But your eyes settle on one book on the shelf, on the top shelf, that's almost stood apart from the others, almost as in reverence, like those who would put the Quran would put it up on the top shelf.
Right.
A book that you're fairly sure from the spine, because there's no title on the spine, that looks like it's bound in snakeskin.
I wonder what this is. Pop it down. Any title on the front?
There is no title on the front, but there is that symbol that you saw downstairs. Worked its way into the scales.
Bingo.
I'll flip it open.
I'm not looking.
The King in Yellow, a play in 2 acts.
Written by anybody?
Does not have an author's attribution.
Well, it's a play. I'm going to look and see what the cast of characters is.
Okay, now there's a fairly lengthy cast. You start off with Queen Casilda, then there's Princess Camilla, there's Prince Aholt, High Priestess, not High Priestess, High Priest Noah Tolba, there's Aldones, there's quite a long list of what appear to be referred to as the Court of Yitil. Then there's also Guard 1, Guard 2, etc. The Stranger / Phantom of Truth, and then finally, right at the bottom of the list, the King in Yellow.
So, did we see the invitation?
if Beverly showed it to you. I think she did, because she did pull it out, if I remember right.
I didn't see it.
I
was
had briefly let you look at it,
Okay.
and then I
There was a something on Beverly's invitation about this Casilda, who's a character in the story. The King of Yellow's in here on the bottom. I wonder why if he's the whole book, why he's at the bottom of the list. It's not alphabetical. Maybe he appears later in the book or towards the end.
Well, let me ask you this: you ever read Edgar Allan Poe's *The Mask of the Red Death*?
Well, yeah. But he appears in the very first scene.
Yeah, but multiple people play the Mask of the Red Death. What if the King in Yellow isn't necessarily like it's a similar sort of situation? Whereas
I don't know. Let's see if I can
people-
find a reference to the King of Yellow. See what he says.
Well, if he's
can
at the
we hear
end.
this conversation, or
Yeah, you can hear this. Yeah.
well, remember the Wizard of Oz? He don't show up till the end.
Yeah, good point.
That's true.
Give me an English roll.
Do I speak English?
Speaking of Deutsch,
I hope so.
pass.
Yeah, I got a hard pass.
Same.
Okay. So you're both looking through this as you're flicking through it then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you're getting a rough outline of what's happening here. It starts off with a fairly dull, so the yawn is probably quite well timed, because the first act is dull as dishwater. It's pretty shit, really. It seems to be a kind of a royal court drama involving the court of Yittil, that is a city-state currently held under siege by another nation called Alar, and that they are basically having their resources drained. They are running low on morale, and there's just this, as it's referred to, this dull, unending, dreary siege. But word comes to the court that there has been a stranger sighted in the city of Yittil. That how has he got in through the whole siege, this whole army surrounding the city-state? And so they call him to the court to explain himself. And he says that he has come here as a herald to deliver a message, but it should be a message that is given amongst revelry, that it should be that the court should hold a masked ball for the rest of the city for them to improve morale. And it comes towards the end of the first act where the stranger reveals that this kind of mask that he wears on his face, it isn't a mask, it's his face. And that by his coming here, Yittil will now become part of Carcosa, where the dread King in Yellow that resides across the Lake of Harley reigns eternal. And the proclamation is given by the king that arrives at that point to say, everyone that is in Yittil will now wear the pallid mask. And the end of Act 1 just ends with this "not upon us, king, not upon us" plea from Casilda to avoid, through anything to avoid this fate that should befall them. Act 2, skimming the book, just doesn't seem to make much sense. That it seems to be, from the little fragments that you're comprehending, that there seems to be some kind of a method of attempt for escape, that the court are trying to do anything in their power to avoid this fate and trying to escape Yittil before it becomes part of Carcosa. But the king is already here, and the king has already instilled his law, and that he is an extension of something that exists way beneath the cloud waves of the Lake of Harley. It's presenting you with almost revelations about the nature of reality, the nature of the insignificance and inconsequential nature of the individual compared against the cosmos. And that in particular, these people are now nothing, that they are just part of a dream, an echo that will continue on until the very end of time, when it says, when Aldebaran's star, when the red eye of the bull, Taurus, finally goes dark and all the stars are burnt out, that the king will finally have illimitable dominion. You can all, for those of you that are reading it, the two of you, roll 1d4. That's how much SAN you lose.
2.
3. What a lousy play. Except that part at the end.
What are you guys reading?
We found the King in Yellow.
You weren't reading that,
No,
Leon. Weren't
We
saying
didn't read it properly. We just skimmed it.
But it's powerful.
I don't see how
dull
this is.
at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know how.
There's something
this
weird
is
and
causing-
compelling about it.
I don't know how it's causing all this problem.
It does seem to indicate, at least in this story, that there was a kingdom, and when the King in Yellow came, the kingdom was absorbed into Carcosa as part of it.
Shit!
That's what has happened to this building. Something has come.
Hopper, you heard a voice say you're the only one who hasn't removed your mask.
In fact, now that you've had that line prompted, you flick back towards the end of Act 1, in fact, the last scene in there, and there is a discussion back and forth between Camilla and Casilda and this stranger, where indeed they ask, "Come now, we have all laid aside disguise but you, it is time to unmask." And the stranger replies with, "I wear no mask."
Yeah.
And there's that response of "no mask?" ? "No mask!" !
I wear no mask.
Yeah, and then you found a mask on the ground. So are you the bringer of all this shit?
That's ridiculous.
Well, where's the mask now?
Do you still have the mask?
I think I left it in the other room, just on the table.
Didn't you say Beverly found one as well?
She did. She said there was a whole room full of them downstairs, but we didn't see any masks.
We're hearing a part go on.
Well, we didn't see any dog before either.
What did she see when she put on the mask? Oh, jeez. I don't want to put on the mask. I want to see where the party is.
Yeah.
Give me the book.
Book's yours.
Yep, you can take hold of that.
That needs to go back to Delta Green when we get out of here. Put it in a green box somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you laughing about? This? It's not as if you could destroy the book.
Yeah, of course I can. It's made of undestructible materials.
Pages like steel.
Oh. Well, if there's that copy and 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 that.
Wait, is there?
No. I just.
There is definitely only the one copy.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, what the? If there's a bin of some kind in the room, I'm gonna drop it into the bin and then scrunch up some paper and stuff around it, and I'm gonna have myself a little bonfire.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
I think that's a very good idea.
You're probably right. It's probably a terrible idea.
I
mean, I'm already doing it, right?
That's an ACEL thing to do, not a whatever we are.
We don't have the time.
Our lead head agent is gone fucking AWOL, so I've got no one to tell me not to do it. So.
Well, I'm telling you not to do it. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
We'll see where the party is.
If no one stops you, you burn the book.
Yeah.
All right, nice little bonfire. Meanwhile, you go in deeper into the room. You get about 5 rooms deep, and always the sound of this party or the sound of this gathering always seems to be further away. But you finally get to a room where you find Michelle sat in a big chair with a glass of wine, reading a copy of *Handmaid's Tale*. She puts it down on the edge of the chair. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Sorry, I sometimes I don't hear people knock.
Oh, sorry. It's a big building you got here with a lot of books.
Oh yeah, I'm very very proud of my collection.
sorry to intrude. We're just wondering what the hell's going on in this building.
Something's going on?
Well, I mean, your room wasn't this big this afternoon.
What do you mean it wasn't this big? It's always this big.
Do you recall visiting with Miss Beverly Clark this afternoon?
Oh, that nice young lady. Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Okay. Pop by any time. Just takes a sip of a red wine and continues reading a book.
Let's go find Beverly.
Yeah.
Ah.
So we're now going to change plans back to what I said originally to go extractor. Before you were saying not extractor because that would be a Delta Green policy. Now we're moving to an FBI policy of extracting our team.
Whatever.
All right.
I thought we were going to wait for the night manager to come back and see if he'd been able to contact.
Well, we haven't been up there, so we better get up there.
Huh?
All right. I'm for one go at getting Beverly and, if we can, Abigail out.
I'm not so sure at this point that we should leave.
Yeah, okay, I'm not in that camp.
No.
Definitely not in that camp.
The problem is, don't you understand that we'll be taking whatever this infection is with us out of the building?
It's the
leave.
book. The book's
The
destroyed.
infection was just burnt.
And yet, everything is exactly the same.
Because we haven't
didn't
stepped
leave.
outside.
The book is just a book.
Yeah, this building might need to be taken out.
Let's go up, get to the night manager, find Beverly, try and find the missing girl, and get the hell out of
All
here.
right, let's go.
All right.
All right. You ascend 2 floors. You head back to the smoking room. There's no one here now. Even Mark's gone.
Matt, I have a question. Are we thirsty, hungry, tired? Do we have to go to the bathroom?
No to every single one of those.
I kind of, that's in my head. I didn't say that to everybody.
Okay.
I just wanted to make note of that. Okay.
All right. All right, so you have the locked door to the night manager's office, or you have the staircase going up. You know that Beverly went up.
Yeah, and the night manager didn't come back down and knock on his door. I don't know. He's not here.
No response, and the door is locked.
I mean, I can unlock it for you.
Yeah, unlock it.
Okay, I'm going to kick the door.
I'm not going to even ask for a roll. You give it a swift kick. The door breaks off its hinges and kind of lulls to one side. And yeah, it's open now.
Door's unlocked, Hopper.
Well, let's take a look inside.
Okay. Right. As previously described, then you have this very cramped office. There's a couple of filing cabinets in the corners. There's this row of black and white photos up on the wall that are bombed out cities where they've got this. Each one has got an inscription on the bottom of it. There's also then the stack of newspapers, and there's another door which goes through the other side. There's no marking on that.
What's the inscription, or what's one of the inscriptions?
They seem to make no sense whatsoever. For instance, one of the pictures you see is of this bombed out wreck of what presumably may have been a high street or row of shops. It's called Downtown Tulips. And then another one of this line of refugees snaking off into the distance through this wooded area that's been evidently an area where there's been heavy bomb shelling, so like artillery strikes. It's called Sovereign Carriage. They don't have any correlation between title and subject. And also, this is definitely not any scenes of any war that you're familiar with. There's no real sign of uniforms of soldiers, at least the ones where there are bodies on the ground. They don't look like uniforms you're familiar with.
That don't make any sense. Oh, what's through that door? Let's go see. Probably where he sleeps.
He sleeps beyond the door, because when you open it up, there's no lock. It just goes into this almost closet-sized bedroom. There's an an old bed that kind of that almost runs the width of the room on the other side, so it's that smaller room. There's a bedside table, and on the table, apart from this little nightlight, is a leather-bound folio book that seems to be almost the pages in them almost loose and falling out for the majority.
Okay. I'll open up the book and take a look.
Okay. It looks like it's all handwritten. So some of the pages may be missing. It's hard to tell. But it's a collection of what seems to be almost genealogical records or tracing a family tree. If you flick all the way to the front, the first line just states the Imperial Dynasty of America.
I'm just going to toss it on the bed and say, it's not here. Let's just go upstairs.
All right.
See if we can find Beverly. Hopefully she hasn't gotten up to level 493,229 by now.
How big is the book that was there?
It's folio size, so it is fairly big.
Oh, no. Folio's big.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep,
man.
you all head upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get to the stairs, or when you get to the landing, you say you have this crossroads, but you have corridor going left and right and then straight ahead. What is your objective when you get to the top?
You should find Beverly.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck together.
Yeah.
Okay. You get to the... Go ahead.
And stay on target. Get Beverly. If Abigail is present, great, and then exit the building. You need to stay focused.
Well, remember, once again, we had really nothing to do with finding Abigail. We had to find what was wrong with this building.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we found out what's wrong with the building.
Yeah.
Abigail bought some kind of crazy...
Well, if we can find Abigail, that's fine. But we got to find Beverly.
I'll take it you're walking and talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Would someone... In fact, we'll leave this to Stu, as you're the one with the lowest luck. Do you want to roll me a D4?
Oh, a D4.
I'm going to go in order of the people that I see on the screen.
All right, here we go. It is a 3.
Okay, that's you then. Because I've got Hopper as 1, Charles as 2, Martin as 3, and then Leon is 4. So this is you. As you're walking, suddenly one of the doors on your right-hand side opens and this guy just runs out straight towards you. What do you do?
I draw my handgun and freeze.
He ain't freezing. He's just running at you wild-eyed as if he's got his arms outstretched as if he's going to try and grab you. You've got like half a second to react. What do you do?
Okay, I'll extend the other arm with the taser to tase the guy.
Okay, give me a fighting roll.
The stun gun. All right. Oh no! And it's a handgun roll, right? Yeah, that's a miss.
If it's a projectile taser, the one that fires the two fires, then yeah, that's a handgun roll. Yeah.
Got it.
So you shoot and miss?
Yeah, by 6.
Okay, I don't need to bother rolling then. He just runs up towards you, and instead of him grabbing you, he actually just wraps his arms around you and gives you a hug. My God, you're fucking real! You're real! Get me out of here! Just get me out of this goddamn place! You can see that he's wearing almost what looks like a boiler suit that has AT&T inscribed on one arm.
Interesting. Oh. You're here against your will?
What do you mean here? I have no fucking idea what's going on here.
He's the cable guy. He came to install the cable.
Yeah, no, disconnect. That madman on the ground floor. That Roger is I think Roger his name is. I got instructions to come down here and pull the plug on his cable because he hadn't paid his bills in like a couple of months.
Well, hold on. Did you come down here?
No, I started off by coming on the ground floor, and then he said for me to go and have a word with this night manager upstairs, and I've been wandering around here ever since. I can't find my way out.
All right. Go right back there. There's the stairs. Go down and keep going down, and you can go right out the front door.
What date did you come here?
That it doesn't work like that. Look.
What date did you come here?
20th of March.
Yeah, that's about right when they stopped paying.
Yeah. That's obviously when Abigail brought the book back. We were just downstairs, and you can walk through the door. You're probably going to be back on the 20th of March when you walk out the door.
But I've been looking for the way. I've been looking for the stairs down for days.
If we look back, can we see the stairs down?
You're at the end of a dead end corridor. There's another door in front of you.
Fuck. Hopper, you piece of shit.
Just come with us. Why am I the piece of shit? You're the one.
Because you were the one that's like, let's go up here.
I wanted to go up here too.
I did too.
You know what? I can put you all out of your misery if you want. I'm the one that wanted to go back up here. You're the one who made the deal for the whatever. You got to find Beverly.
I made the deal. What the what?
Right. If you are, as a group, single-mindedly following Hopper, and Hopper's intent is to find Beverly, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
In which case, Tom, you can give me a roll. Your target number is getting higher, 27.
A roll of my regular dice.
Just percentile. Yeah.
27. I want to get 27 or lower.
Yeah.
I got 17.
Okay, right. In which case, then you start walking onwards, thinking, "Well, this is a bigger corridor than." You see a couple of other side corridors again with just more doors going off into the distance and more turns. That there must be something up here. That she must have followed the route of least resistance. The bigger the corridor, you think. So you keep on going straight ahead. You get to a T-junction. And you see signs of life. I mean, this is a good 50 yards ahead of you. At the T-junction, there's a door. And a man walks into view, somewhat overweight, but he sees the door and then sees you. And just this look of utter panic comes over his face. And he quickly starts fumbling around with his belt, trying to pull a key off it that he tries to frantically get into the lock and try to open the door. What do you do?
There's a guy, and I rush towards him. Yeah.
Okay, you rush down the corridor. The other three, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and grab him also.
I've got my gun aimed on him.
Okay, so you're standing there, gun in hand, taking aim. Charles and Hopper are running forwards. What about Martin?
I'm staying with Leon, but I'm standing away out of his shot.
Okay, so moving to one side. In which case, Hopper and Charles, you start running. You've got 50 yards to cover, so it's quite a bit of ground. You can see the guy's fumbling. He's looking over his shoulder, just this look of abject panic as he finally gets the key in the door, turns it, opens the door, and slips inside, and then shuts the door closed behind him.
Damn it!
At that point, you get to the door. You haven't heard the click of a lock.
Okay, I'm gonna kick it open.
You kick it open. Give me a dex roll, please.
It's not going to be there.
24, and my dex is 70, so that is a hard.
In which case, you retain your balance because you kick the door in, and the door falls into this what looks to be an elevator shaft, which goes straight down. You basically stop yourself from following through. You can just, if you peer over the edge, you can see this shaft going down and down and down into black.
Jesus Christ!
Can you give me a sand roll?
He's going to help you.
In fact, both of you that are there and looking through the door can give me a sand check.
I got an 05.
An 11, I passed.
Okay, 1 point for pass.
And I just turn around casually and I start walking back and I say, perfectly normal.
As my heart's beating.
There was nothing inside but an empty elevator shaft dropping down as far as we can see.
So where did he go?
He must have just disappeared into the ether. That's
seems
what this
to
place
happen
is
a lot.
doing to us. The place is fucking with us.
When Martin and Leon, after having looked at Hopper to hear his story and then looked back down the end of the corridor, there's just a blank wall. Where
Can I do a psych check on Hopper?
How about the guy? The guy that was with us.
He is just he's actually taking way back behind. Well, not way back. He's keeping fairly close to Martin, but he's keeping behind him, and he's just shaking his head and going, "This is the reason I hide in the empty rooms. I just scavenge got any cake or flat champagne I find anywhere. I've been living like that for days.
You find cake and champagne everywhere.
Oh, there's loads of it all over the place. Party favors." Cinnamon sticks, little cakes. There's a fucking waiter that comes round here with a plate full of jellies.
So you get hungry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can't worry about that right now. Leon, do you want to just take a look in my eyes?
Yeah.
See if I'm crazy.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm completely bananas. I think we all are.
I passed.
Okay. You are honestly perplexed when looking at Hopper. Something tells you that he has taken a fairly big psychological shock.
Yeah.
But his body language and the way he's acting is almost seeming as if nothing's happened.
Hopper,
Uh-huh.
you've seen some stuff tonight. We've all kind of gone through a lot, and we me and Tucker and Martin seem to acting normally with how we can see that we're all shocked, but we're trying to work through this. You seem to be like. You're not in shock. You're like, I know you're in shock, but you're not dealing with it. You're just sort of like, what's going on? What's going with your head, man? Talk to me.
What can I tell you? I'm in Delta Green because I've seen things before we came into this fucking building.
Yeah, but you're not. It's like nothing's getting through.
I'm purposefully blocking it from getting through.
I don't know if that's entirely healthy.
Well, let's not worry about our mental health while we're inside of a fucking building that keeps changing and moving and it's attached. We're probably not even in the same city anymore. We're somewhere in between. We're caught between New York, the moon and New York City. I don't know what the fuck.
So I'm going to turn to the cable guy and say, so you say these rooms off here, they're empty rooms and sometimes you find stuff in them, right?
He shakes his head. They're not empty. Not all of them. Some of them are, some of them aren't. As he's talking, out of the corner of your eye, you might see Charles kind of looks around as if he's heard something. And it was around the time when Hopper said, this fucking place, etc. You swear you hear the sound of vigorous lovemaking, like two people really going at it in a room fairly close by.
Listen to that. You some people are boning.
I am not going to provide sound effects. But
No, I'll do that later. Oh,
they
sure.
sound like they are really
I
going
try
at it.
and go towards whatever room I think it is.
Yeah, it's a couple of rooms back from where you are. I've got one round the corner. In fact, the corner wasn't there when you last looked, but it's there now.
I'm gonna
Don't
walk
go
to
too far out of sight, Charlie.
Follow me.
Walking on there's plenty of porn downstairs in the books. You want to walk in on somebody boning?
And I throw open the door.
Oh, God.
Okay. You throw open the door and the sound immediately stops. The room is this wonderful boudoir that's been set up. There's very thick pile carpet. There's this 4-poster bed in front of you that is completely covered in blood. There are shards of chrome metal, which are as if they've high velocity impacted into the bed. And then on the wall, on the back, written in this blue-black ichor, is this just the one phrase, "Where's my bottle?" ? Can you give me a sand check, please?
04.
Okay, just the 1 point, please.
Oh, you don't want to see this.
Yeah, we don't want to see it. Can we find Beverly?
Scrawled in blood, it says, "Where's my bottle?"
You, in which case Hopper said you want to find Beverly.
Wait, yeah.
You notice that there's a crack that's running along the edge along the edge of the wall, between where the wall and the ceiling meet.
There's a crack there. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuck in the foundation. What? Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah. There's something you said. This. Where's my bottle?
Yeah.
Was there some reference in one of those plays about a bottle with the name on it?
Look at the book. I don't know.
Martin's page ended with him being handed a bottle.
With his name on it.
Hey, Martin, you still got that page on you?
I sure do. I kept those folded up here, and we printed them out. Styles.
What's in the bottle? World without end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Down there. Drink, and you shall see.
The super gives him the bottle.
Styles. Yeah.
Styles' conversation was with the super. Tucker's conversation was with Mark. Who is Beverly's conversation with?
I don't remember.
But this makes sense. World without end. That's where we are. We're in a world without end. It's...
Well, no, because didn't Mark say it's not infinite because there's a start and there's a beginning. So there's a beginning and an end.
But we haven't drank
So
from the bottle.
Right. So if you drink from the bottle, it becomes infinite.
Unless we're in the bottle. I don't know. Bottle. Let's find Beverly.
And not drink anything.
How are we going to find Beverly? We've got no
I don't
idea
know.
where she
You said
goes, and
stay on track. That's our track. Find Beverly.
Okay.
Nothing else matters.
As you say that crack gets larger. You can visibly see it run the length of the corridor.
You see that?
Maybe it's like Beetlejuice. Find Beverly, find Beverly, find Beverly.
The walls either side of you collapse. The ceiling falls in and bounces off your head with all the weight of a paper cup. The whole thing falls flat onto what now you are stood on is this vast stage overlooking a dimly lit auditorium where there are hundreds upon hundreds of life-size mannequins all sat watching motionlessly this stage. Everything around you, the walls of the night floors, all just fallen to the ground as the things they truly are. Just plywood stage props. All the mannequins in the audience just stare looking at you. Their strings slowly being pulled as they all start to file out of the auditorium. The world around you is nothing but an illusion or a stage. Everyone give me a sand check.
Damn it. I should never have watched that fucking movie.
I found it.
Pass. Yeah, pass.
I passed it by 3 points.
Fail.
23 out of 77. Pass.
Those that pass, it's 1 point. Those that fail, it's D6. So I'll go around. I'll go down the line and collect who has got what. So, Leon, what did you get?
I passed, so I took 1.
1 point. And Tom?
Passed 1 point.
Opera rather, 1. Then Charles.
4 points.
4. Good. And Martin.
1 point. Past sanity. 1
Okay.
point.
As the hundreds of puppets, these marionettes, start to rise up and then start to walk out of the auditorium, filing up the central aisle away from you, looking around wildly, you can see that there is a crack in the backstage. There's littered tools all over the floor that look like someone has hammered their way through the wall of the back of the theatre. And it opens up into this stone room where you can see a fake dim light, but otherwise this cool, dry air wafting over you.
I lost. That's my 10% threshold also.
And nothing happens yet.
Okay. Just
As you have the impression, as I mentioned to Hopper earlier, you feel like your mind is walking on a razor blade's edge. That any moment it will tip, but that moment is not yet.
Guys, I swear to God, I had no idea that was going to happen.
Okay.
What
I
the
at
fuck?
this point, it's pretty clear we're not getting out of here. Like this, we're not getting back. This is.
We don't even know what reality is anymore. Maybe we're drugged. Maybe all of
didn't
this is
drink
just a
anything.
drug-induced nonsense. Well, you wouldn't remember it because you were drugged. There's the warm air wafting through that. That's the only way to go, I guess.
Where
So-
did
Well,
the
let's try what you just tried. Beverly.
Your feeling of trying to look for Beverly is indicating you to go through that crack.
Okay. I think we're supposed to go through the crack.
You're cracked.
Jesus Christ.
Stop saying his name. He's not going to help you.
I don't know. Maybe he's here. Maybe God's just a big prankster. Oh my God. All right. Let's go through the hole.
All right, yeah, through the hole, into the breach.
Is it
I
just
just-
empty space or what is it? Yeah.
Oh, no, you arrive in the same place that I described to Beverly earlier. You're in a room or a chamber after walking down a short flight of ancient steps that then lead into this chamber with 4 tunnels leading off it. Each of the world certainly seems to be moving for Charles by the look of it.
Ah!
Going through the crack was traumatic.
Everything fell apart. But
Let's wait for just a second.
What happened?
I have a sheet. My monitor burnt out like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't been able to replace it. So I got a shitty little TV that I converted to a monitor until I could buy a new one. And it doesn't have brackets. It doesn't. So I literally have a 5-pound weight sitting in front of the monitor, holding it up with books, and everything just decided to give.
that would have been perfect timing for when the stage appeared.
Oh man.
Well, it is when Leon did it the second time.
Very good. You're in this
Sorry
chamber.
about that.
All right.
There are 4 tunnels leading off it where you can see in the dark there are these faint blue lights. Again, your direction is taking you down the second tunnel to try and find Beverly. And as you walk, you can find that in these alcoves all around you, there are ornate glass bottles. Each of them has, like was written in Martin's sheet, or in Martin's page of the play, there is a small metal tag with a chain wrapped around it so it can sit on the neck of the bottle. And each one has a name. Now, each of you can roll me 3d6, add them up. I want to know the highest that anyone's rolled.
3d6.
11.
Oh my
10.
fucking God.
14.
Okay,
How many D6s?
3d6.
I got 3 6s.
Okay, 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. So it won't go any higher than that. 18. Now, we'll go through this in sequential order. Roll number 1. Again, your target number is 3. Everyone can roll it.
How many dice? What are we rolling?
This is percentile.
Oh.
Okay.
And you can spend luck if you want to bring it down to 3 or less.
How many times are we rolling?
Well, it sounds like we're going to get we're going to get a winner on the first roll.
I got an 06, but I'll spend 3 points to make it a.
Okay. Others can do this as well because it just means others get this to get the attempt as well.
Okay.
At the minute we've got 1 winner.
Okay, I failed on the first roll.
Okay. Martin?
I rolled a 34.
Okay.
Oh, I got a 3 on my 4th roll.
Okay, well, I'll count that as 4, but yeah, we're still resolving the first one. So you didn't get on the first one then?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so it's only Charles that gets the attempt this time round.
Right.
Spot hidden, please.
Just
for Charles.
What? Roll again?
Spot hidden.
Oh, spot hidden. I didn't hear what you said. That's why. Sorry. Fuck. 89. I missed.
Okay. Right. Well, say Zane's done rolls 2 through 4 already.
Yeah.
So roll number 2. Everyone can give me a roll to try and get 3 or less.
Nope.
No.
5.
Okay. Roll number 3.
Ooh, that's a 13. I'll spend the 10 points.
Okay. So we've got 1 winner at the minute.
What's
Anyone
the
else?
target number for roll 3?
3.
Oh, 81. Nope.
Okay. Hopper, spot hidden, please.
Oh. 21 out of 60.
We have a winner. You come into a chamber as you are. This is after a good 3 hours or more, by your reckoning, of wandering this labyrinth. You are evidently somewhere way down deep. So this is deep level subterranean natural caves. But off in the distance, every so often, you can hear the sound of running footsteps. And across natural junctions, you even catch sight of a man in a pinstripe suit carrying a briefcase that just runs across the corridor, and he's there and then he's gone. Following him maybe into where he's gone to, you arrive in a circular chamber where, again, there are alcoves irregularly scattered all over the walls. And thinking that this is a wild goose chase, trying to chase this phantom of an encyclopedia salesman, your eyes rest on a bottle in an alcove that has inscribed on its tag, H. Legrand.
I look around, grab the bottle, and I put it in my jacket pocket.
Okay. You probably end up carrying it because it is quite big. It's
big.
like a decanter.
Oh, okay.
You can see that there's some kind of liquid in it, maybe. It's just got a stopper on the top.
I'm gonna pop the stopper and take a lift.
Okay. A coil of smoke rises out of the bottle, and whatever impression or shadow of there was a liquid in there before disappears as it rises out of the bottle and almost dances like a dancer doing a pirouette in the air around your head. And a voice that only you can hear, a whisper, a female whisper, indeed the same voice, the sound of Abigail's voice, that whispered in your ear when you were back in the shrine that she built downstairs in what was once her room when she was on Earth, just says to you, I am at my journey's end, and now I dance to the music of eternity and will do so forevermore until the king's dominion is illimitable. To seek me is to join me, to suffer my fate, to suffer my doom. There is no rescue, for it is truly a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And then the smoke disperses.
The cork back in. Guys!
You doing okay there, Hopper? You look white as a ghost.
I found my bottle.
Don't drink it.
There's nothing to drink. It's empty.
Oh, that's weird.
But I heard a voice. It's Abigail. She says not to try to find her because if we find her, we join her. And she is forever dancing the eternal dance of, I don't know, the tango.
La cucaracha?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
but
that's
we
good
gotta
enough
find.
for me. Let's go home, boys.
No, we gotta find Beverly before she joins Abigail.
Yeah, these are not good.
Can
So
I just
this
yell
here,
out for Beverly?
this
Just be
here-
like,
can this smash a bottle? I go up to one and smash it.
That's my bottle.
Not yours, but one in the alcove.
You go up to it. You hit it with evidently a good degree of force. Your gun bounces off it.
I think these have our. This is what our souls go into when we die.
I'm going to shoot the bottle.
It's gonna ricochet off and hit somebody, dude.
Okay. You go bang, and again it just ricochets off. Everyone, give me a luck roll.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Sorry, Martin.
Nobody ever listens to me, do they?
Well, I'd already done it by the time you...
I
That is
had
a
failed
pass
my
for
luck
me.
roll.
It's 11. It is. It's,
Oh, nice!
I got to show you this. This would mess up the. It's 11.
Oh, I believe you, but I failed.
Oh,
So I just shot Hopper. It's okay.
Okay, you're only winged, so you take the whole damage. You roll 1d3.
All right.
The hell are these things made out of? Adamantium?
Made out of magic. What do you think they're made out of in this place?
You're made out of magic.
You're made out of blood and guts that I'd like to rip out right now.
This was, I think, roll 3
Yeah.
of your sequence. So you're only spending 3 hours down here. Beverly has spent much longer down here. So as you are contemplating whether you're going to go back and look for your bottle or whether you continue on to go to the shore, you sent me your message and saying your intent. You start walking down toward along that corridor back towards the shore. You hear a gunshot ring out not that far away from you, back behind, somewhere behind you.
Hello?
And the other 4 hear Beverly's voice echo through the corridors.
Beverly.
Hey, nutcase, where are you?
We're all
Beverly.
nutcases at this point.
I'm at the shore.
Oh,
Yeah, but she's
you've gone-
supreme leader of the nutcases.
You've gone all the way to the end of the tunnel. You can see this sandy shore, well, kind of sandy and pebbled, that goes off in either direction. And what should be, it sounds almost like water lapping in front of you, are just clouds. Fluffy white clouds, almost like a mist. And along the shore, where these cloud waves break, you can see a palace stood on the shore.
That's
Light.
Carcosa.
Lights twinkling in the windows, the sound of a waltz playing, and the sound of hundreds of revelers taking part in this almighty...
Sorry, is that all of us saying that?
Yeah.
No, that's just Beverly, because she's at the
Okay.
entrance of the tunnel when she hears the gunshot behind her.
That's nice. I have an invitation.
Beverly, if you go, you're never coming back.
Beverly, where are you? Because we can't see her, right?
No, you can hear her, but you can't see her.
See if we can find her. She's not far away.
I've come this far. Onwards to the palace.
Okay. You start, in which case the 4 of you start running, trying to find the direction of her voice, and find this long corridor. The bottles stop, and then just the stone wall continues onwards. You can see ahead of you, it opens up onto a shoreline. And as you get to the shore, or get to the end of the tunnel, something Beverly didn't see because she's not the one that found her bottle, but Hopper spots that there's a dark recess off to the left, just at the very end of that tunnel, which looks like another tunnel going off, or more accurately, a corridor, and you can see a door at the end of it with light shining through around the edge of the frame.
There's a door over here. Do you see this?
Check
Do
it.
we? Do the rest of us see it?
Yeah, once it's pointed out to you, you can see it.
I think she's over here somewhere, but let me go check this door. I don't know why I'm
got your back.
attracted to it.
I got your back.
Right. I'll open the door.
Okay. You step into almost pitch black and then reach the door itself and open the door, and it opens onto the second floor of the McAllister building. So Michelle's apartment is on your right. Off ahead of you, you can see at the end of the corridor, it just disappears into black. So where there should be the stairs, there's a figure stood there in a yellow robes, not tattered, but hooded, and a tabard across the front of them with the yellow sign emblazoned upon their front, and a face that looks like a porcelain mask. Only you know, having read the book, that is no mask.
I'm not going to... I think it's a way out, guys. I think it's a way out. I don't think
What do you
that...
see?
I see the second floor of the McAllister building, but there's something here. The thing that... I think it's the super.
You hear a chuckle from the end of the corridor, this deep, mocking laughter that almost shakes the fabric of reality to its core. It says, I am only his messenger, but his herald, come to tell you that he is here, and that time is slowly running out. And it just glides back into the dark, which the light flickers in the ceiling above, and you can now see the staircase.
It's definitely a way out. If you want out,
back up to the floors above.
if you want out, this is the way out now.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
I don't think that Beverly's going to come with us.
She's yeah.
Let's.
Yeah. Who?
Can we? Is Beverly within sight?
You can see her wandering down. If you poke your head out the end of the tunnel and then look down the shore, she is way off in the distance, walking towards that palace.
I'm gone. I'm down the stairs.
She won't come back with you, even if you get her.
Yeah.
I've got the stun gun. If one of you comes with me, we can apprehend her and or stun her and get her back.
Yeah, but we can't take her back. Like, she's gonna be nuts.
You know what you need to do.
This guy said this time is running out.
Let's make for the door and
Cut
Yeah,
our losses.
I'm
All right, go. Go.
So I'm going to stand next to the door and hold it open so that they can get out.
Gotcha.
now,
Fine.
question.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. How far is Beverly from us?
A good couple of 100 yards at this point.
Too far to
She's
shoot.
just a
right?
dot
Yeah.
in the distance.
Yeah, too far.
Okay. Because that's what I would do as an agent. If I had a rifle, I would try and take her out and then leave.
Well, Hopper can give me a PAL roll.
30 out of 60, so exactly.
Okay. In which case, the light that's on in the closet is starting to flicker, and you can feel resistance. This door isn't going to stay open for long. Keeping the physical door open.
I'm going. I am running.
Run for the door.
You skid on through just as Hopper's fine last bit of mental reserve gives way. The light bulb in the closet blows out in a shower of sparks, and instead of there being a corridor that leads off back into the Whisper Labyrinth, there is just the back of a closet. You still feel, though, that even though you're still in the building, you are still in the area of effect here.
Right. Check our watches to see if they're running yet.
I make
I
a
gotta get
beeline
outside.
for the
I'm-
door.
Yeah, front door. I'm heading for the front door.
All
Okay.
right.
Charles and Leon run like hell. Martin?
I'm helping Hopper out.
What up,
Okay.
the cable guy?
Oh, yeah, he'll be with you, because if you want, he's not going to have...
I bet he'll be running.
I am
Yeah,
going
he's probably the one that moves first.
I'm going to try to retrieve my notes, though.
Yes, they are still there where you left them.
All right. and let's get the hell out of this building.
Okay. You run out the front door and glance down at your watch. It's been maybe 2 minutes, so it's 8:05 by the time you get out the front door. At which point, as soon as your feet touch terra firma and reality as far as you are concerned, you consider it to be, the full impact of all the sanity loss that you have taken inside the building hits you like a freight train in the face. So this is running totals. Agent Sampson, that's 11 points of sand that you've cumulatively lost. Shaw, 11 points. Sinclair, 11 points. Styles, 4.
Wow.
So Styles is the only one that comes out of this with any keeping their sanity. The rest of you, how do you want to react suddenly flipping out?
I'd probably collapse catatonically, but wide awake, like paralyzed.
Okay.
I feel really bad, but I'm probably going to start beating the crap out of Shaw.
Really?
I blame you.
I try to break it up.
I'll let him pull me off. Like I'm just gonna be like, you made me go up the fucking stairs. Oh my god!
I am going to react with total paranoia. That I'm convinced absolutely that even this is not reality. And I'm going to run away from Leon and grab one of the attendant. Well, they probably left by 2 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, they've gone now.
I
hug a tree.
I'm hugging Martin.
Okay, so Martin steps in to try and stop Leon beating on Hopper. Charles on the ground is just saying, "I found the yellow sign. I found the yellow sign. I found the yellow sign." Hopper runs away as Leon starts screaming, "I went up there! Damn it! It's all your fault!" And as Hopper runs away, the few people that are out on the side street of New York here that are all wearing ball gown dresses and party attire, all wearing masks, are all looking at you wherever you go, all through the streets. And off in the distance, occasionally, you catch sight of just going around the corner ahead of you, these tattered yellow robes of a figure that's always a few steps ahead. And Beverly walks along the cloud waves breaking beside her, up towards the palace of the King in Yellow. The guards on the front doors, dressed in this Renaissance garb, are standing watchful for whoever comes in, and they just look towards you and say, "Do you have your invitation, ma'am?"
Oh, of course.
They take it. They look to each other. "This is all in order, thank you." I hand you back your card and gesture. The ballroom. The king is waiting. As you head inside. The mask that, as you put it on, melds with your face as if it's a perfect fit that was made just for you.
As it should be.
You walk into the grand lobby. There are bodies everywhere of people wearing masks. The floor almost covered in blood. Of people that have tried to rip this thing off their face and failed. Others that have torn at their throats. That have fallen clutching at each other. Others died by sword, by knife. There is just carnage everywhere, scattered amongst confetti and other party streamers. And yet the sound of the waltz goes on. You wander through corridors throughout this seemingly almost undefinably large construct, this palace that goes on forever. Seeing occasionally people running through the corridors in panic, screaming that they can't get their masks off, the screaming that the king has come, screaming that their end is nigh. And finally opening up into this huge ballroom, the size easily of a football stadium, pillars around the edges, that goes out to this balcony that overlooks the Lake of Harley. There is an orchestra that's playing. They seem to be somewhat lacking of blood, but they still play on. Their pale, dead hands still moving in music that will last until the end of time. Dancers in fine attire and masks, spinning and twirling in a maddening spiral that will never end. And then off to one side, sat there in the finest clothes that an artist could put together, is a girl, not too young, not too old, probably in her 20s, that gestures you to sit down on a silver tray where she's pouring herself a cup of tea.
No, I go have a seat.
Yeah. She extends a hand. The name's Abigail. Abigail Laura Wright.
Beverly Clark. I've been wanting to see you for so long.
I feel like we've met before.
I believe we have.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes. All the
This is,
time in the world.
And all the worlds, on to eternity until the stars burn out. The orchestra erupts in a fanfare. A smile creeps across Abigail's mouth as her mask covers her eyes. She turns to you with a look of glee on her face, or at least on her mouth, but a look of terror in her eyes. Just says, "Oh, look, the king's here." The crowd parts, allowing you a long, clear view down the ballroom to see at the end this almighty throne where this figure that you had only previously seen in the mirror, some 8-10 foot tall, dressed in tattered yellow robes with wings that stretch over the ether into infinity either side of it, with the Lake of Harley stretched out far behind it. Even though it's maybe 100, 200 feet away from you, a single stride is all that it requires to bound across the room and stand right in front of you. It towers down in its majesty, looking down upon you, and laying a hand on your shoulder, gently and contentedly, it just says, "Welcome to the dance, my child." A yellow curtain falls, and that is the end of our story.
That was great.
And now we as mannequins all get up and shuffle.
Yep.
To the...
Encore!
Get away.
Encore!
Ah,
That was good.
Wow.
All right.
That was great.
Night Floors is quite a ride. The end of it, also the last act, if you will, can be very, very weird. There's a whole load of scenes that the keeper can throw in your direction, but the key to getting through this is to having a clear goal as to what you want to do. To give a bit of background and some of the stuff that maybe hadn't come up in your investigation, you got the large majority of it. Abigail Laura Wright was just an artist. She found a copy of The King in Yellow in a local bookstore, brought it back, circulated it amongst the other artists in the building, and shit goes down. That their collective energy, their collective inspiration, they're all inspired by the play to go out and perform new works of art, and they're essentially feeding off each other. And as that energy grows in the building, the closer the building becomes to Carcosa, and it connects to this. Think of it as like an intermediary dimension between here and Carcosa, the Night Floors. It's got the same almost substance as the real world, but it's almost as malleable as Carcosa itself. Carcosa is outright chaos, but the Night Floors, you have the potential to grasp hold of it and mold it to your ends. If you have if you think of something hard enough, you can make it happen. Which is why things like Beverly saying, "I want to go and find Abigail," or "I want to go to go to the king." You have to take your if you're acting as a group, it's your cumulative SAN loss that you've got in that you've all taken while you're in the building is your target number. But then Beverly, when she walked off, was just using her own SAN loss as a target number, but still passed the roll. Hence why zooming off to the Whisper Labyrinth, which is effectively the belly underneath Carcosa, and then emerging on the lake and being able to head to the shore. Finding the bottle is the one clue that it provides you with, if you were doing it in a bigger campaign or bigger set of stories, it provides you with a massive clue that the GM can drop onto the player to help solve a mystery that they either may have previously encountered or they might encounter. It's basically a hit me with a plot stick. So in this case, it gives you the evidence it gives you the knowledge to say, yeah, Abigail can't be rescued. She's gone too far. She's gone to the end. So part of how it's originally written is it's almost an exercise into say, well, we found out what happened to this person. If we follow in her footsteps, we're going to follow the same fate. It's about knowing where to stop. So when you were saying earlier about, yeah, we should just pull back out, that is a win condition, because you are stepping back and saying, nope, not going to follow all the way to Carcosa, not me.
I actually messaged Charlie and Martin after I burned the book, and I said, I'm leaving.
Yeah, that would be a complete win in that sense for you, because you would have escaped having taken any more SAN hit.
But it was like, no, let's go get it.
What do you mean? What do you mean win?
Yeah.
These people have missed out on the only opportunity that ever mattered to them.
I gotta run because.
Yeah, go ahead. You
Yeah.
can go.
You want to do the
Oh, wait,
wrap
did
up?
we do the
No.
wrap up?
No.
No.
Do the wrap up real quick. Our players include Morgan Llewellyn, Zane Fleming, Jason Melnichuk, Stuart Lively, and myself, with Matthew Sanderson as the keeper of the secrets. We usually play 4 times a week and post on YouTube within a couple of days of each episode. We also post the audio versions on iTunes and Podbean. Just so that you know, we don't monetize our shows. The only shows that have ads are because we occasionally use copyrighted music. The music owners get the cash, we don't. Our costs are almost entirely covered by our patrons. What's not covered comes out of our own pockets. By pledging just $1 or $2 a month, you are directly helping us defray the cost and improve our show. So, if you would like to become a member of a supporter, visit our Patreon account, just $1. You can find the link in the description below. I'm used to the old one. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Riley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.